this is a terrible idea because I might spend forever on this and it's nearly 1 a.m. and I'm very tired. But I just wanted to like talk about anime, like on my anime list. I'm on my list right now. You'll get flashbanged in when I go back to the main thing because it'll be white. But yeah, basically I'm just gonna talk about a bunch of there you go, that's good. I'm talking about a bunch of anime. Yeah. So, as you can see in my top 10, my top 10 anime is from best of the 10 to worst of the 10. Because Spy X Family Part 2 is the only one of these 10 that's rated a 9, everything else is a 10. My rating system is dumb, but it works for me and my brain. I don't rate things out of 10, I rate them out of like 10.9. And the reason why is because 10.9 to me means literally perfect. Which obviously nothing's ever gonna get that. But the thing is that it's not too easy to get a 10 out of 10 rating, but I mean like, in my opinion, I think there is quite a bump in quality between Your Name and Chainsaw Man Season 1. And, you know, I just don't want to... Obviously, I can't actually rate them above a 10 on my anime list. But I would say that... I don't remember what I rated these, but like Chainsaw Man would be like a 10.0 and this would be like a 10.4 or something like that, 10.5. Your Name is so perfect. I'm not gonna spoil any anime, by the way. I should have said that at the very beginning. I'm too deep in, which is like 3 minutes, but I'm too deep in. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. So I just like go down on the list, or should I talk about the 10 and then just... I should probably talk about the 10 because these are the ones I care about the most. Sorry about the white background. I can't really do much about it. I think I can change my profile. I mean, I'm not doing that now. So maybe I should do it from left to right. I mean, right to left. Spy X Family Part 2 is basically as good as Part 1, except it doesn't need to take a couple episodes, like, telling you basically who the main characters are. And it immediately starts with a pretty intense plot, so... But other than that, it's, like, basically the exact same quality, but it's just slightly better. But yeah, I want to keep... You can extend it past 10, but at least for now I want to keep it 10. It just looks nice, and maybe eventually I'll make it, like, 15 or something. You know, I have a lot of anime watched. Hardly any manga. Pay no attention to these two. Anyway, Spy X Family is just like, you have, guy who is, like, working as a spy. He's, like, the top spy in the country. He's trying to prevent war. Then you have Mother, who is an assassin. But she doesn't know that he's a spy, he doesn't know she's an assassin. This girl is named Anya, and she knows their occupations because she can read minds. And sometimes she does actually aid them in what they do, but obviously they don't know that she has that power. She's scared that she'll go back to the orphanage if that happens. She's been I think they made a point about her being taken back a couple times. And she goes to school, and she needs to get, like, the plot is that she needs to, like, befriend somebody in school to prevent, like, a war, because, like, the kid, like, his dad is important. You know, it's stuff like that. When I got into the anime, I thought it was going to be, like, a really big, like, super epic action anime, but it's actually a lot more comedy and focused and slow-paced. We got Part 2 only a few months after Part 1, or it might have even been a couple months. It was, like, so close after. which was very nice indeed. But it is pretty good, but I think it would have been... They're clearly building up a long-term thing, but epic action... There are some good, definitely a lot of good action things, but I was hoping for more originally. Basically, if this anime were only like 12 episodes long, I would absolutely want it to just be super fast, at pace, super intense. But you know, they've only made Season 1 and Season 1 Part 2, so basically 2 seasons. This will be worth it in the long term when the anime's over, or like when it's pretty late in. Who knows how many seasons there'll be, but it's definitely not going to end with Season 2, no chance. Definitely going to go to at least a Season 3. But how, like, large scope the story's looking to be. It's going to be great, basically. But we have to build up to that, obviously. But it's very, very good. Consistently funny. A couple episodes feel kind of fillery, but that's because of the world building, and again, it won't feel that way once all the episodes are complete. So I feel like Spy X Family is going to get better, not only as it goes on, because the plot and stuff will get more intense, but it'll get better because these episodes, the character building will all be worth it, because it builds up to something bigger. So I could very, very easily see Spy X Family Season 2 getting a 10 eventually. But right now, Season 1 Part 2 is the worst of these 10, and it's the only 9. Next is Chainsaw Man. Really, really good. The animation is insane. The characters are surprisingly great. It kind of psychs you a little bit. I don't really know if I call it spoilery, but the stakes are very low, like, early on in the anime. The main character, his motive is that he literally wants to touch boobs. But then it turns into, like, a significantly bigger scoped thing. And the manga's going far right now, apparently. I do occasionally see screenshots, but I try to avoid spoilers. But yeah, no, like, they're definitely gonna make more seasons. It's gonna be fucking great. Yeah, it's just gonna be crazy shit. The Season 1 is already really good. But the reason why I have her as the lowest is because, like, I don't really, I know it psychs you, but I don't really like that much that it psychs you. Cyberpunk was a lot more immediately, like, it built up to the action a lot quicker. It built, it got a lot more intense a lot more quickly, and I kind of wish Chainsaw Man did that. And I know it's like, oh, that's the point, but I don't mind his first motive being to touch boobs, but it takes, like, quite a few episodes to for him to even get beyond the point of, like, oh, I don't want this anymore. I think it should have been a little faster. But yeah, I mean, that's basically the only real criticism I can give it. It's building up to a much bigger thing, so we'll just have to see how it goes. But yeah, for now, it's excellent. They won't have to waste so much time on, like, certain characters, so hopefully the next season will be even better. Next up is Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is really, 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 really good. Of these three, Spy X Family, Chainsaw Man, and Cyberpunk, this has the biggest flaw of the three, in my opinion, but its qualities are just so good. If it didn't have the problem I have with it, I'd put it at, like, number 5 or 4, like, so good. The animation might be... It's so stylized. It might be the best visuals and animation and stuff, and action, I've ever seen from a seasonal, or, like, a normal anime, like, non-movies and specials. Like, just for, like, a season of anime, like, this is probably the best I've seen. The music is fucking phenomenal. The action is phenomenal. The characters look really good. Their performances are really good. They're all really, really, really good. And it gets intense very quickly. And, spoiler, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, this is like on episode 1, but main character's name is David. His mother dies in a car crash. His performance there is a little weak. I feel like his performance gets way better as it goes on. So I know I said the performance is great, but and then later on with David Lee, it feels a little, and it feels like he doesn't care as much as he should. I don't know. It's a bit. I don't know. I was expecting more emotion for when that happened. And it's really depressing as it goes on. It basically cuts all the jokes in the last few episodes. It gets really intense. They're not afraid to kill characters off either. I respect that. My issue with this anime is that it's too short. It's like 10 episodes long. It needed to be like 12 or 13. Just even one more episode would have made a big deal. There are a couple scenes that are just like a teeny bit too short. And, like, you know, with even one extra episode, the pacing then would be really good. Then with another one, oh god, it could be even better. But unfortunately, it's very short. Although that also means it's really quick and easy to binge. It's really intense. Gets a bit emotional. It's fucking crazy good. But having slightly shoddy pacing for something that has a 10 is quite a criticism, which is why it's this low. I say this low, but you know, it's still amazing. I think there's Undertale music playing. I'm not wearing my headphones right now because it's distracting and makes it hard to talk. So hopefully it's not too loud. Let me check the audio. Ah, fucking hell, it looks loud. Hold on. I'm putting the headphones on and they don't sound that loud, but I'm looking at the audio thing and it looks... I'm gonna turn it down like a little bit. I'm using some random playlists, so some of the music's gonna be louder than others. Kaguya-sama Season 3. Ultra Romantic. It's kind of hard to talk about Season 3. So the plot of Season 1... So, the idea is that you have, like, the school president, and then you have, like, the vice president. It's like the student council, basically. It's the student council president, and the vice president is the... So you have guys president, girls the vice president. They try to get the other person to confess their love. It's like a game, and I remember telling my brother about that, and he was like, oh, it sounds cringe, but he watched Season 1, and he was blown away by how good it is. It is... You know, I can't really talk about Season 1 much right now, but basically, Seasons 1 and 2 build up to Season 3. So obviously you know nothing actually happens in Season 1 or 2. That's not a spoiler when there's a Season 3 with like 12 whole episodes or something. But Season 3 is really intense. You'll notice that Season 2's not here. I think I gave her an 8, which is a huge step down from a 10. Season 2 kind of feels almost half fillery when Season 3 and 1... Like, Season 1... stuff happens, and then Season 2 builds on it a bit. It more so builds on the side characters, and not just side characters, but on the world, or the school, rather, and larger scope events happening. But at the same time, Season 3 also kind of does that, while also the episodes being cooler, higher quality, and more intense. As these episodes build up, they get more and more and more intense. That is the word that I would use. They get fucking intense. You probably imagine why. But obviously, I'm not saying if anything happens at the end of the season or not. You gotta watch. There's also like a special, like a Christmas special thingy after this as well. And yeah, so it's really, really good. Season 3 is just more of it. The first few episodes do feel a little fillery, but it's just trying to get you back into it, some funny plots and stuff. But then it really starts kicking off at like episode 4 or something, and it just, God, it's so intense. your heart is just like, you know. I wanted to watch this so badly, but I knew the Kaguya-sama was better binged. I waited until the day the final episode came out, and I binged all the episodes and then watched the final one. I loved it so much. So much. It is so, so, so good. So yeah, the fillery thing, you know, criticizes that a little bit, tiny bit. There's another spoiler thingy. Well, I'm not gonna say it, but mild criticism with it. Overall, and there's another thing that I want to say as well, but I can't. Spoiler. I would, you know, season 3 really is just amazing. Kaguya-sama in general is great. Even season 2, even if all the seasons were of the quality of season 2, I'd still respect it, you know. Romance comedies are common, but a romance comedy with, like, this unique concept is great. Alright, that reminds me, by the way, Spy X Family came out in 2022, Chainsaw Man came out in 2022, and I think Cyberpunk came out in 2022. It was either that or 2021. This came, oh yeah, 2022, it says at the top, and this one also came out in 2022, Kaguya-sama season 3. But yeah, absolutely amazing. With like the biggest things I can criticize it for, I can't even say what they are. They're not that big, and honestly, they're kind of not as big of a deal with Cyberpunk's pacing problem, so that's why it's like slightly above it in rating. This is like a normie one, but Attack on Titan really blew me away. I knew it was one of those anime that'd probably just be like not objectively good, because you can't really say objectively, but you know what I mean, like. You know shows where, like Breaking Bad, for example, where just, like, every single person on the entire planet tells you to watch it? Attack on Titan was like that back in the day. And, you know, my brother wanted me to watch it. He's like, oh, I'll watch episode 1 with you. I was like, alright, fine, I'll watch episode 1. And I watched it, and dude, episode 1 cooked me. It looks amazing for 2013. It must have been one of the best looking anime at the time. The plot, like the concept is really interesting. And the scope of Attack on Titan, as you see in future seasons, is enormous. It goes, I can't spoil it, but it goes way beyond what you think it will. It's fucking crazy. You can't predict really what's gonna happen. I mean, you could maybe try and predict it, but, like, there's a lot of theories that you could have, so you might not guess the right one. It's so good. But yeah, well, in my opinion, the latest seasons with that plot, with the bigger plot, is actually, in my opinion, not as good as the early stuff. It feels like it gets kind of out of focus, eventually. But yeah, Attack on Titan as Season 1 goes, there are a couple episodes where it feels like they kind of take a while to get going, and some parts where it seems like they get too good at wielding the equipment too fast. Basically, you know, they live in, like, some big walls in case Titans ever come. Like, Titans are, like, these huge human-looking things, but they're kind of ugly and naked, and they don't talk, and they just fucking stomp on everything and kill everyone and stuff like that. In episode 1, you see, kills Aaron's main character's name, Aaron's mother. Now he hates all Titans, he's gotta kill them all and stuff like that. But you know, so then he joins, like, the I forget what the name of the thing is, but he basically joins a thing to be able to kill Untitans. So, you know, pretty interesting concept. I mean, we've seen, like, oh, you kill my mother, you kill my girlfriend, I gotta kill you now, but, like, something about it just hits. Really interesting, and as you see later on, it builds a lot. Speaking of, Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 2. I can't really say what happens here, because everything I could say is a spoiler. This episode is, I mean, this season is only half the length of season 1. This came out in 2019. Huge gap in between. Season 3 part 2, basically, in short. Yeah, this is, like, just before, like, a huge, shift in, like, plot happens. This is, like, the final season before it happens. This is, like, basically as intense as it gets before that new plot comes in. And it's amazing. I would rank it higher, but the last, like, 1 or 2 episodes were a little... not fillery, but, like, as soon as the season starts, it gets intense, like, immediately. And then the intensity ends, and of course you need, like, half a season half an episode at least for the climax. Hell, even an episode, but there's 2 episodes where that happens, and that just feels like a little much. If it weren't for that, I would definitely put it above Kill la Kill, no questions asked. But yeah, no, rest assured, it is really good. It does, you know, it just gets into it immediately, unlike Attack on Titan Season 1, because obviously Attack on Titan Season 1 needs it, you know, and at this point, like, a lot of things are already addressed, but the thing is with Attack on Titan, it constantly keeps you wondering, oh, but I know how this thing works now, but what about this thing? That's how it goes. There's just, like, the constant, like, one question gets answered, or at least half answered, and then you have, like, at least, like, 2 more questions that you have because of some crazy plot thing. It's fucking nuts. Yeah, so Attack on Titan's amazing, and the best of it is Season 3 Part 2, definitely. I will say, at the moment, there is an this is, like, the finale of Attack on Titan. There are 2 specials of Attack on Titan. It's called the Final Season Part 3 or whatever. I know it's stupid. But this is actually, like, the final. But what they did, they're releasing it in 2 parts, and Part 1 was an hour long, I believe it was, so Part 2 is probably going to be an hour long as well, but it's coming out later this year. Part 1, I give it a 10. I know I said I don't like the bigger plot that much, but this is after, like, a couple seasons of it, and now this is the climax of it, and considering that and ranking it separately... Well, like, factoring, like, alright, even though I don't want this plot, really, if they're going to do it, alright, I'll give this one a fair chance. Like, it's so good. The animation is unbelievably good. And the pacing is fucking fantastic. And it's so intense, and you have no idea how the characters are going to get out of this situation. And it's just... it's so good. Seriously now, it's peak Attack on Titan. It's absolute peak. But only Part 1's out right now. If Part 2, it probably will be even better than Part 1, just because it will finally reach a climax and stuff. If it is as good as I think it could be, I think it'll go, like, that one will go, those 2 specials will go, maybe even number 3. Like, oh god, it's so good. But even Part 1 right now, I'd say it is better than it might even be about as good as Kill la Kill, which... a lot of people will probably disagree with Kill la Kill being this high, but I'll get to that in a second. Sip real quick of my water. Also, if you're wondering about the favorite characters, I probably wouldn't put her characters, but I do like her. Shinoa's based. I bet the anime she's from kind of low-key sucks. And these 2 are from Baccano. Baccano's pretty good. I gave it like a low 9, but these 2 characters are fucking fantastic. I love them both. Don't get seen like that much, but they're honestly both great. The joke with them is that they're both really fucking stupid, and they never understand what situation they're in. Fucking awesome. But yeah, we'll get to that later. Kaguya-sama. Season 1. So, when I gushed about Season 3 so much, well, what about Season 1? Oh wait, fuck, no, Kill la Kill. Shit. Sorry. Kill la Kill plot is basically like, somebody killed my dad, I gotta go to the school and fight people to figure out who killed my dad, and I gotta get revenge. Kill la Kill is really good. It has a lot of, like, fan service. The character's 17 now, that, you know, it pushes, you know, anime trying to make a sexualized girl be 18 or older challenge. The visuals are really unique and interesting. The comedy is pretty good. All the characters are interesting. Music's really good. Oh yeah, by the way, I never talked about openings, but if I remember, Cyberpunk's opening is fucking fantastic, and so is Attack on Titan Season 1's. Anyway, I hardly factor intro and outro to rating, but if there were two anime that were like absolutely identical in quality, except one of them has just like generic 7 out of 10 good intro, one of them has like a 10 out of 10 intro, then obviously that was gonna get ranked higher. Although I don't think that's ever actually come into play for me. Anyway, yeah, it's hard to really talk about Kill la Kill that much, but yeah, again, it's just like building up to, you know, finding out who killed the father, and then, you know, she has like these scissors, like half a scissor, and then her clothes are like, they drain blood out of her for more power, I think, and like, it gets pretty intense, and it might not sound like I'm complimenting it that much, but that's because, honestly, it's probably the worst of these 10, which, then why the placement I'll explain in a minute. I should probably rewatch it. I haven't watched it since 2019. Maybe I'd rank it lower. Now that I think about it, putting it above these two is kind of, I mean, still. Yeah, out of all these anime, the one I watched the longest time ago was Kill la Kill. It was like early 2019, I think. And the second earliest one was, Kaguya-sama, I think. Or it might have been Steins Gate. Anyway, basically the reason why Kill la Kill is ranked this high is because it is the most consistently good show out of all of these. It has basically nothing I can really fault it for. Spy X Family, some fillery episodes, and I was expecting it to be more intense. Chainsaw Man doesn't take itself seriously enough quickly enough. Cyberpunk, pacing issue. Kaguya-sama Season 3, two things I can't talk about, but one of them is that I think I said it takes a tiny bit to get going. Also, it's not as funny as Season 1, but that's because it's spending a lot more time making it more intense. Attack on Titan does take, you know, the pacing, some episode, like, sometimes they're just able to do too much stuff too. If I remember correctly, there's 2 time skips in Season 1, which is kind of fucking stupid. So some things take too long, some things are too short. Attack on Titan Season 3, the last couple episodes, there was like one episode, when it came to like the climax, it was like longer than it needed to be. And I will talk about the flaws of the other 3, but Kill la Kill has like virtually nothing I can actually say negative about it, even like nitpicking. The only thing I could potentially say, spoilers, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just gonna do that for things that I feel like might be a tiny bit spoilery. It gets to a point where she, like, kind of halfway through the show, or maybe a little bit more into that, she kind of gets fed up of everything. She's like, no, fuck this, I'm not even gonna bother anymore. I'm just gonna be the, like, I'm just fucking done with all you guys, I fucking, you know. And it goes on, like, a tiny bit too long. I'm literally talking, like, half an episode, or maybe a bit less than that. That is, like, the biggest, well, I mean, that's the smallest nitpick out of all of these I could criticize. So it's practically not even a flaw. Especially because I know it's coming next time if I ever do rewatch it. So basically, it's a 9 out of 10 anime that is so consistently, like, good, that I have to give it a whole entire point just for being amazingly consistent. Which is why it gets a 10. Although, granted, ranking it this high might be a bit iffy, but maybe I'll rewatch it at some point. Also, another thing as well is that it was hard to rank anime in 2019 because that's when I had really distracting hand pain, shoulder pain, sometimes even like back pain, you know, stuff like that. So sometimes it was really hard to like properly rank those things, so I did watch Kill la Kill in 2019, so it's hard to actually remember properly, to be honest, but it's ranked this high. It's definitely in the top 10, no doubt about that, but I might actually need to rewatch it. I have a feeling that if I rewatch it, I might rank it kind of around here, but we'll see. Alright, Kaguya-sama Season 1. I also watched this when I had hand pain. I remember my final day of exams was, I think it was either the next day or the day after I started watching this, and I binged it all one day. I didn't do like, I was studying hard, but I just did not really study that day because of Kaguya-sama, and I had hand pain. However, then I watched it again a couple months later. It was the first anime I ever rewatched. Not counting when I was a kid. It was the first anime I ever rewatched in full. So, it has that big quality going for it that I was able to actually rewatch it, and so soon. It was only like 2 or 3 months after. And I rewatched it in 2022. You know when I said in Season 3 I waited to binge it all? I also strategically planned it to binge Season 1 and 2. So I watched Season 1 for the 3rd time. I watched Season 2 for the 2nd time, and I watched Season 3 for the 1st time. And even in spite of watching it 3 times, the 3rd time was hardly a worse viewing experience than the 2nd time, and the 2nd time was hardly a worse experience than the 1st time, even though I knew it was going to happen. It is the funniest Kaguya-sama season. It is the most simple. A lot of things take place in the student council room. However, I've got to give it brownie points because A, it's so fucking funny, even on the 3rd watch, and B, it introduced me to the Kaguya-sama world. You know, like, Season 3 is really good, but I knew what I was getting into. When I watched Season 1 for the first ever time, it was fucking magical. It also has the best intro of the 3, but, you know, that hardly matters. But yeah, it's so, like, it's special. And you could say I shouldn't judge it by that, but if I'm going to put both seasons in the same, like, listing, then I feel like it's, you know, it's fair at that point. One thing I was thinking of doing was making it so that it can only be, like, one series per, like, placement. So, like, only one Kaguya-sama and only one Attack on Titan. I was thinking of doing that, especially because Chainsaw Man Season 2 might be really good, but I might want to keep both of them, you know. But then, you know, then that would just force more 9s into the ranking, and honestly, it's really hard ranking the 9s, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, and the person's playing City Escape on the guitar, and I can't even hear it right now because my headphones aren't on. So yeah, I kind of give Season 1 special treatment. It wasn't, when I watched it the 3rd time, it was kind of like 9 out of 10 or something, but that was after already watching it. I've never watched an anime I've watched other anime now twice, like Konosuba and stuff, but I've never watched one 3 times except for Kaguya-sama. It is so special. I do have a couple issues with it though. It is too small in scope. The ending was a little annoying. And it was before Season 2 was confirmed, so it bothered me more on the first watch, and it kind of felt like a little bit of a, just, I don't know. This isn't really a spoiler, because because, you know, there's a Season 2 and 3, you know they don't get together in the first fucking season. But the way that the Season 1 ends is basically, like, it kind of almost, like, resets, it feels like. Not totally, but it just kind of feels like no real progress was actually made. At least with Season 2 and 3, like, progress was made. Even in Season 2, there's more progress in Season 2 than Season 1. The Season 1 just focuses on just being very funny. Which makes me wonder if, the characters were ever even planned to get together in the first place. Maybe it was just planned to be, like, obviously it would have been a manga, but, you know, like, 1 season worth, and then that was gonna be it, I don't know. Maybe that was the original plan. Yeah, the characters, it's only really focusing mainly on 4 characters, but they're all fucking fantastic. And, are really funny, really interesting. Yeah, the animation's good. The intro's good. The outro's good. it's just really, really funny. It is the funniest anime that I've seen. And I do kind of give it a bit of special treatment, because 3 has a lot more going on, more progress is actually made. It just kind of fixes Season 2, in that sense. Oh, I think they're doing an outro thing. No, I don't want to see your fucking outro, bruv. Alright, let's skip that. Oh, dude. There we go. But yeah, Season 1... Oh yeah, the other issue I have with it is that there's like one plot line, it builds into something bigger, but there's... And it's the only time it really properly happens in Season 1. But there's something that kind of goes across multiple episodes in a row, like a plot. And it's a little... On the first viewing and the second viewing, I didn't really like how it went, but the third time I warmed up to it a bit more. It wasn't as bad as I remembered, but... In the last, there's like 3 episodes in a row or something that are definitely not as high of quality as the rest of the show, this season. The rest of it's like 10 out of 10, and that's like 8 out of 10, but... You know, at the end of the day, it's the only anime I've watched 3 times. It's really funny, it's really good, and the concept is incredibly unique and interesting. I technically kind of prefer Season 3 over Season 1, but again, brownie points and shit, so I rank it this high. First viewings are the most important, and the fact they managed to get me distracted from my exams and from the hand pain, I really gotta give it kudos. Speaking of anime that got me through the hand pain, Steins Gate. Steins Gate is amazing. And this is not a spoiler, because if you click on Steins Gate's thingy, and then you see, like, sequels and side stories and stuff like that, like, it's there. Steins Gate does have a happy ending, but not canonically. It has like 25 episodes or something, and on like episode like 23, there's an alternate ending that you can watch, and that leads into a Season 2, which that is actually the canonical thing. I haven't seen Season 2, but that's like when shit goes bad. But basically, this anime is like time traveling shit, and it becomes really big, and then the main character has to keep going back in time, and then he has to convince characters, is like, hey, look, it's me from the future, like, I know this, I know that, but the thing with the anime, it's really frustrating and agitating, but that's how it's supposed to be, and I know I said it earlier, like, that doesn't automatically justify something, but I feel like it does here. Time travel is never going to be done perfectly, because it's conceptually, like, time travel is conceptually a flawed thing. If we ever do time leap, it'll probably be forward, and backwards is probably never possible, I'd imagine, but... Whereas in Steins Gate, they just keep going backwards. But, also the intro is really good. Although, I think it only plays for, like, half the season. I'm pretty sure they changed it after that. Yeah, I might be misremembering. Anyway, there isn't much I can say because there's so many twists, so many big plot things. It does take a while to build up, but it's amazing. The first 5 episodes are practically perfect. It is a little dated. They say the F-slur a few times, and they say some other weird things. Like, this was made in 2011. I guess that was made in 2019. Kill la Kill was made in 2013. Like, it kind of feels a little old in that way. Just a little bit of the lingo that they use. And again, it does take a little bit to get going, and I don't like that Season 2 is canonical. I feel like the happy ending would have been nice. And it does beat down on him probably you know, because he has to keep going back in time and stuff. It's a little much sometimes. And it does get, again, frustrating. It's hard to watch because it's frustrating. It's probably better on a second watch, maybe, but yeah. Steins Gate is special because it's the first anime I ever gave a 10, except for My Hero Season 2, but then I looked back at that one day and I was like, wait, hold on, I don't remember anything other than the tournament arc, and the tournament arc took up, like, only half the season, so why is it a 10? And I think I lowered it to, like, a 9 or an 8. So this was, like, the first one I rated a 10 that actually stayed a 10. That actually deserved it, basically. So it holds a special place in my heart. It's very, very, very good. I'm recording for 40 minutes. Again, there isn't too much I can say about Steins Gate. Like, it looks good for its time. Acting's good, intro's good. The plot's really unique and interesting. It's really intense. Just a great watch. I feel like it's impossible to not like Steins Gate. You can say it's overrated or whatever, but I feel like it's impossible to think it's legitimately like a 5 out of 10 or worse. Now for the Big Daddy. Your Name, right? I've seen it twice. Your Name is the most perfect fucking show. Not show, but it is the best thing I've probably ever watched in animation history. My animation watching career, if you want to call it that. At least when it comes to singular things, you know. It has the best animation I've ever seen in my entire life for anything, with one exception. The animation studio that made Your Name made an anime called Weathering With You. And it does look a teeny tiny bit better, but Weathering With You was also made in like 2020 or something. Or maybe it was 2019, I don't remember, but... So, and Your Name is older, and it still looks absolutely perfect. It's visually just the best looking thing ever. I seriously know, I could literally go on for like 20 minutes about the animation. But if I could really put it like this, right? There is like a 1 second long moment of a shot of like a house, because somebody's like leaving the house. So you see a shot of the inside of the house as like they leave, as the door closes. The worst looking thing in the entire movie are like these shoes next to the door, and the shoes look a tiny bit rough. They're like 6 out of 10 visuals or something on the shoes, and you only see them for a second. And there's so much going on in the background, you probably won't even notice it anyway. And even if you do, that is the worst looking thing in the entire movie, and it is a 1 second long thing, and you might not even notice it. And it's like 6 out of 10 or something, so it's like fine anyway. They are weirdly lacking in detail for how close to the door they are, but yeah, no, like that. Seriously now, they have a shot at one point of a character walking out of a train, and you just see like their feet and legs and the door, like, you hardly get to see anything, but it's so beautiful. The reflections are insane. And whenever it's raining, or like when they get a good shot of the sky, it's so unbelievably amazing. Again, I could not do it justice enough, right? Okay. If I had to rank, if this was, like, unironically, the worst anime I've ever watched in my life, except for the animation, right? I'd have to, at the absolute bare minimum, it'd be a fucking crime to rate it anything lower than 4 out of 10, and even that's being super harsh. You pretty much have to give it at least a 5, even if every other quality is horrible. But already, it gets an average rating overall because it looks that good. For 2016, it's insane. The best looking thing in these 10, except for the one that's just the visually, like the most detailed one, other than Your Name, is definitely Chainsaw Man. And don't get me wrong, it looks really good, but like, holy fuck, dude. Your Name, it isn't just like, oh, if Chainsaw Man was a movie, then it'd look just as good. Like, they really take advantage of like the sky and just like there's so much that goes on, like visuals. It's like, and they got like a festival as well at one point, and like that looks amazing. So the plot of Your Name is that there's a guy and a girl, and then eventually they kind of like swap bodies somehow, and then it happens sometimes. It builds into a much bigger thing. I'm not gonna spoil it beyond that. It is... Animation's perfect, the music's perfect, the characters all are good, like they behave how they should. There's only a couple dick characters, and even then, you know, it just, you know, it's good, it's some good shit. The pacing is pretty good. It's a pretty unique story. It's very unique, even. It's just so incredible. You know how well it sold? Apparently it sold so well that, I think it was like the director or something of the movie literally said to people to, like, stop watching the movie. Like, not as, like, a threat, but it's like, yeah, can you guys, like, watch something else? We have, like, other stuff we make, too. But yeah, that's how good it is. Also, in case you're wondering, Weathering With You, I gave it a 9. Get into more detail about that later. So, one of my criticisms with Your Name, I have 2 criticisms. One of them is the ending, but I can't say why. It's not a big thing, but the ending is definitely the worst thing about it. It's a little unsatisfying. And as for the second thing, I can't say because it's a big spoiler, but this concept literally, conceptually does not make sense. Even in the universe, this concept doesn't make sense. And there's not really any way of making it make sense without it being some sort of detriment to the story. But yeah, it literally doesn't make sense, and it cannot function with this plot cannot happen without the flaw. You have to make that sacrifice. The flaw has to exist for this plot to exist. Basically. So it's a worthy sacrifice because the movie's so amazing and the plot's still good. But yeah, and even in the universe, the plot doesn't make sense. Or like the twist, I guess, doesn't make sense. So those are 2 things I could criticize it for, and it's like, oh, well, what about Steins Gate then? Like, why doesn't Steins Gate place higher than that? But it's like, Your Name is more rewatchable, and it looks way better. Obviously, a bit unfair, but still, like, it's just a lot easier to watch from beginning to end and just have a great time. And again, the flaw that contains a spoiler, like, it's hardly even worth noting, even. Because it's so worth it for the rest of this to work, and the ending, I'm sure it'd leave most people satisfied. So yeah, it's basically fucking perfect except for those 2 things, but one of them pretty much doesn't matter at all, and the other one only matters to me like a bit. Will anything ever top Your Name to me? Well, assuming I make it to like 70 or something, something's bound to top it eventually, who knows what. But as for now, I don't think anything is gonna beat Your Name for me in a long time. If you notice, right? I watched all of these 4 like a while ago. 2020 and 2021. 2019, 2019, 2019. This was 2022, and this was also 2022, and this was 2022, and this was 2022, and this was 2022, and this was 2022. 2022 was a very good year for... Well, I know these weren't actually from 2022, but... These 4 are amazing, and these 2, I watched them in 2022. 2022 was a good year for anime, but also a good year for me watching anime. I watched a lot of good stuff. You know, but basically, these 4 are in the top 10, and they're still a jump away from a movie from 2016, even though these came out in 2022, and there's 4 of them. Like, what these anime would have to do to reach Your Name's quality, like, holy shit, man. Like, if Cyberpunk were, like, 2 or 3 episodes longer, and they did, like, maybe 1 or 2 tiny differences with performance and, like, how the plot goes, maybe it could reach #1, but, like... I don't know. Something so special about Your Name. The first watch was incredible. Yeah, keep in mind, right? Oh, yeah, I forgot about this, right? You want to know how good Your Name looks, right? The first time I watched it, I accidentally watched it in 720p and did not know until, like, I was almost done with the movie. I know that sounds like I'm fucking lying or something. I'm not lying. For almost the entire movie, or maybe even was the entire movie, I was watching it in 720p and I didn't notice, even though at the time, yeah, I was still using my 31-inch monitor. 720p on some... you know, like, stretched across, like, and it still looked that good. I would probably notice now, but I'm just saying, like, that's fucking insane. My eyes are only, like, probably, like, a little more than a couple feet away from the monitor my eyes are. So yeah, like, Your Name for its animation alone makes it, like, 5 out of 10, and then the fact that it doesn't have abysmal qualities at all, and even at the absolute worst, things are just like, alright. And that only ever happens like once, and then the rest of it's just amazing. Like, easy fucking 10. So to top Your Name, I mean, how Your Name could have been perfect. You can't do anything about that plot point issue, but making the ending, like, all my cup of tea would have just made it basically perfect. It would have made it like 10.8 out of 10. Like, only missing 0.1 because the plot literally just doesn't make sense. So yeah, these are the 10 Titans, I guess you could say. I'm not if I could only have one Attack on Titan and one Kaguya-sama, it'd be pretty interesting to, like, figure out what the next 2 best would be, because I really don't know what I would make it. Now we can finally go on to just, you know, this would be more brief, but now we can finally go on to anime. This is the final season, the final chapters. Illuminate You, I'm watching it right now, but I haven't watched it in a while. It's a little hard to watch. I don't like confrontation. It's a lesbian kind of like romance anime, a tiny bit of comedy. I just don't like confrontation. There's a ton of it too. Some of the girls are really bitchy. It's good. The animation's pretty good, and, like, I respect what it's going for and stuff, but it doesn't really do anything amazing. I think, unironically, the novelty is that it's, like, lesbian anime, but even without that, it'd still be good. But yeah, it's, like, at least 7. It's either a 7 or an 8 out of 10, but because I'm struggling to even watch it, because if you like confrontation, it's like 8 out of 10. If you don't like it, it's 7 out of 10. So I'd probably give it a 7 when I'm done with it. I don't like ranking stuff until rating stuff until I'm done with it. But obviously, One Piece is different, or things I've dropped or whatever, or I'm putting on hold. I should probably put this on hold. I need to watch the Kaguya-sama movie. Ken the Master Ken is like a meme anime where it's just purposely done really bad. They kind of have like this joke where one of the characters dies every episode, kind of like Kenny in South Park. I'm on, like, season 21 of South Park, by the way. I'm nearly done with it, too. Just wanted to say that. There's one episode of the show that is super serious for some reason, and doesn't have, like, a single joke, and obviously the whole thing's supposed to be super ironic, but then one episode is so fucking serious, with no hint of sarcasm whatsoever. It makes me wonder if, like, either that's the joke, or that's what the creators actually wanted to make if they didn't have such a low budget. I can't find episodes 9 and 10 for some reason. I mean, I haven't checked it in months, but yeah. it is funny for the first 3 episodes, but it really wears off after like episode like 4. Honestly, I'm probably gonna give it like a 5 or a 6. One Piece, it never fucking ends. We're in the Wano arc. I remember taking screenshots of the Wano arc in fucking 2020, and we're in 2023, and it's not gonna end soon. I don't even know if the arc's gonna fully conclude this year, especially when they take occasional breaks and stuff. Like, and filler episodes. I don't think it'll fully conclude this year, but it's hard to say for sure. But like, God, like, there's like one thing that happened really recently that it's just made the situation for the main characters like even worse. And now there's another fight that's gonna happen. A couple fights concluded like 10-20 episodes ago, but now they got another one. There's so much going on. Like, no progress gets made, ever. It's nuts. However, One Piece, for being this many episodes, the animation's good. The story, the world building is incredible. One Piece has some of the best, like, world building I've seen. And, it keeps me entertained for 20 minutes a week. That is something notable. That it's able to get me, like, it's like the one weekly that's always going to be a weekly. Back in 2022, I was watching, like, 7 or 8 weeklies at once. It was great. But One Piece is just still lasts, and I will be sad when it's over. Okay, I'm saying this completely unironically. I don't even think it's gonna end before 2030, but I'll be watching it for a lot. I better not fucking die before it ends. I need to see how it ends. Yeah, so basically, it's very, very, good on the world building and stuff, but the pacing is horrible. If the pacing were good, I might even give it a 9, but the pacing is so bad that I gotta give it a 7. After the time skip, like, the pacing is off, like, a lot. There are so many episodes where, like, almost nothing, where, like, in any other anime, it'd be, like, 5 minutes of progress. So many episodes like that, and there have been a couple One Piece episodes, especially in the Wano arc, where, like, it's just been, like, top-notch shit. But yeah, nah, it's, at the end of the day, you know, you get excited for a One Piece episode, you watch it, and there's only, like, 8 minutes of content, it gets pretty annoying. And then next week is a filler episode, and then they take a week off after that, and it's just like, holy fuck, man, it never ends. They kind of had, like, a small special thing for episode 1000, and run episode 1000, like, 57 or something, so, yeah. What the hell is this? It's an O and A? Okay, never mind, we can ignore it. Silent Voice. It is a movie, basically. Kids made fun of this, like, deaf girl, and then when they got older, like, the main character tries to reconnect with her, like, try to befriend her because he feels bad and stuff, and he even, like, learns sign language and shit. It's very mean-spirited anime, though. There are some antagonists that are really, like, kind of nasty, and I've heard people say, like, if you think the character's being too nasty, you clearly didn't know the point of the movie, and it's literally like... But just because, again, like I said before, just because it's the point doesn't mean that that point is good. So my issue with it is that it's hard to watch, and I don't like the ending. Very much. It is okay, but those are some pretty big points. But I love its concept, and it is very interesting, but it's hard to watch. Afro Samurai is pretty... I hardly remember it, but I do remember it being good. It has a very unique art style. It's just samurai. I think they gotta kill someone or something. Yeah, it's good, but it's not, like, gonna rock his world. Agretsuko is made by the same company that made, like, Hello Kitty. Basically, is this woman who works at a shitty job, and every time she gets pissed off, she, like, fucking, like, does, like, basically heavy death metal shit, like karaoke. And, like, the world you know, she's you know, there's like there's some world building. Her boss is like a really bad person. He's a pig in the show, like obviously as you can tell, it's all animals. But even he starts to... He doesn't really become a better person as it goes on, but he becomes more funny as it goes on, I guess. A lot of funny things happen. Season 1 is pretty damn good, a very strong start. They're only 10 episodes long, if I remember correctly as well. I think they're only 12 minutes long or 15 minutes long or something like that. Season 2 is just like a tad better than Season 1 because it doesn't need to, like, you know, more things happen and there's more world building and shit. And the third season is just that, but again, it just even funnier, like the plots are even more intense. There is a 4th season, and I think it might be the final one. I'm not sure, but I haven't watched it. Also, a romance story thing kind of slowly builds up. But yeah, no, it's pretty good. As you can see, watched the first Aggretsuko on, you know, the 4th of March. Or is it the... Yeah, it's 4th of March. Then we watched Season 2 on the 8th of March, and then Season 3 on the 10th of March. So, yeah, it's pretty damn good. I need to keep watching it. I think there's also, like, a Christmas OVA or something as well. I really gotta watch it. You know, keep in mind, I remember watching Aggretsuko, and I remember it got to a point where I was like, oh, I watched it, like, 5 months ago. That's crazy. Or even to, like, oh, I watched it a year ago. It's been over 2 years since I finished Season 3. Really gotta get on that. I hope these music tracks are good. I have not been listening to them. I typed in like video game music remixes, like playlist or something, and the playlist is like 300 fucking things long. The next one's Undertale, by the way, I'm just letting you know. Aharen-san is just romance comedy kind of, but the romance is like a very slow build-up thing. So you have like Lolly Girl, and she's like kind of very boring and basic, but then she warms up a bit to the main character as they go on. Side characters try to get them together, like that type of thing. You could argue, you know, because it looks good, the visuals are good. That is a good thing about watching anime in like 2023, from like 2020 to like 2023. All anime look good visually. Maybe they won't in future, but right now they all look good. So that prevents anime from just being, a lot of them from being just horrible, because they all are kind of like eye candy, or at the very least, are just like good, like quite good visuals, and like so it's able to keep your attention even when you would otherwise just not be looking at the screen because you're bored. So they do get a big leg up compared to older anime. Another is like a horror thing. It gets kind of intense in the last, like, episode. A lot of stuff happens. But basically, with another, like, people keep dying. And there's, like, a curse on the town. And, yeah, it's like... God, there's one episode. I need to say this. Potential spoilers, but I'm gonna make it as little spoiler as possible, even though it's a spoiler. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's this, like, beach episode, and it looks like fucking filler. The whole thing is just filler. They go to the beach because it's out of town, so it's like, oh, we can go to the beach and relax. And then at the very, very end of the episode, it's like, oh, the curse is not just in the town, one of the characters dies. And the reason why I say it's not that much of a spoiler is because a lot of characters die, and and there was a big group of them going to the beach, and I'm not telling you which one dies. I don't remember the fucking gender of the character, I seriously don't remember. But yeah. That happens, and I looked, you know, on, like, I forget what it's called, but it's probably called, like, it's just, you know, when you type in, like, One Piece filler episodes or whatever, and it comes up with, like, that website, it's got, like, an orange sort of layout, I think. That one lists the fucking, or at least back then, I don't know if it does now, but back then it listed that beach episode as a filler episode, even though a character dies. I was pissed off watching it the entire time, and then a character died, and I got even more pissed off. I was like, what the fuck? So I have to watch it in the end? Like, what the fuck? That's stupid. This is a filler episode, except you have to watch it because one thing happens at the very, very end, which they could have put at the beginning of the next episode. It's so goddamn stupid. But yeah, it's still intense. They're not afraid to kill characters. It's pretty cool. concept and stuff. It's more creepy than, like, holy shit, I can't watch this. It's a very low 8, but make no mistake, it is good. Otherwise it wouldn't be, because I do base ratings off of Mal's ratings, except for 10, because 10 makes it sound like something's perfect when it's not. 9 is great. 8 is very good, 7 is good, 6 is fine, 5 is average, 4 is bad, 3 is very bad, 2 is horrible, and 1 is appalling or something like that. I think this one's just like a sister or twin or something. Maybe it was a friend, I don't fucking remember. I don't really remember another the other. I might not even acknowledge OVAs, I'm not sure. Are You Lost? 4 girls are stranded on an island. 3 of them don't know what the fuck they're doing, but 1 of them does know what they're doing. But she isn't a very social girl. They eventually finally get rescued, but yeah, they have to like learn to survive and stuff. Visuals are good, the characters are kind of interesting, but it is mostly just like girls kind of fuck around for a while. Except the situation's not super slice of life or anything, it's just more like they're in a bit more of a serious situation, but they're just kind of trying to make the best of it in some ways. And it's just kind of whatever, you know? But I gave it a good because there's hardly anything actually wrong with it. Just from its concept, it can only get so good, you know what I mean? A concept like this could probably only peak at like an 8 out of 10 or something, so whatever. Already went over Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan Season 2 just builds on Season 1. It's not quite as good. It's hard to remember exactly what happens in specifically Season 2. But, it's pretty... I do remember being very good. I think my issue with it was that... I think it might have been that it was shorter. Honestly, it's hard to remember. It's like, how can you forget some... But seriously, now, I binge, like, almost all the anime I watch. You gotta understand. Like, it's really hard for me to remember stuff sometimes. As you can see, look at the Season 1, 25th to the 27th. Season 2, 27th to the 28th. Season 3, 28th to the 29th. Season 3, Part 2, 30th to the 30th. Attack on Titan final season, 30th to the 5th, because that's when it got worse in my opinion, but yeah, Oh, I made a mistake in this. This says 6 to 7, but I increased it from 7 to 8. Oh, well. Yeah. You didn't used to be able to edit shit like this. Dude, that's so convenient. Anyway. It's hard to remember these two, but I assume Season 1 had more of a novelty. Because it was like the first one, you know? The final season is when they drastically change plot. And I really do mean drastic. It turns into a completely different show, pretty much. And I didn't like the direction it took. I felt like it was too much at the time. And I was super confused on what the fuck was going on. And then... I can't remember if it was the final season or the final season part 2, but one thing happens that really pissed me off. I was a little iffy on the anime, and then when that thing happened, instantly I was like, nope, I'm dropping it at least an extra point. Like, I was like, fuck this, dude. And it does, you do find out later that it isn't quite how it seemed, but still, like, to get me thinking it was like that for like a fucking season is just crazy. It probably needs to be turned down more though, desktop audio based off the audio bars. But part 2 is easier to stomach because more stuff happens instead of just trying to explain the story. And at that point, you're already used to the new plot, so that's why it's an 8. Oh god, Death Note, yeah, we'll get to that later. I should probably speed this up. How long have I been recording for? 1 hour 9. Cool. Bacano, that's what I was talking about. It takes place in, like, God, I can't remember when, but, like, a couple hundred years ago or something, I think. Look at these notes. Originally gave her an 8, but I'm updating it to a 9 on the 29th of March 2022 because I can only remember good things about it. That is true. I can't really remember anything bad. Even now, I can't really remember anything bad about it. A lot of stuff happens, particularly on a train, like some murder mystery thing, and there's a lot of characters involved, and it turns into a much bigger thing. You see the perspective of the story from, like, 4 characters or something. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. It is a bit much for 13 episodes. But yeah, no, it's very interesting from beginning to end. Just keep, you know, it's hard to explain it, but murder mystery, a lot of stuff happens. There's kind of a big twist. Yeah, it's pretty good. The specials aren't really great, but I hardly remember them, but I think they were all in, like, a room talking about shit or whatever. Blend S is the most generic 8 out of 10 anime possible. It is the most 8 out of 10 anime ever. It is, like, it does, like, basically the bare minimum for an 8. Granted, I haven't watched this since 2018, I should probably watch it again. But, basically, I think, like, it's like maybe some sort of maid cafe or something. And eventually, one of the characters is a fucking femboy, and, like, I think it's a maid cafe. It's definitely some sort of cafe with girls, with, like, cute girls. But it's just slice of life. Visuals are good. Music's good. Characters are fun. It's just a generic slice of life. It's super generic 8 out of 10. But if you're getting into anime and you want something lighthearted, Blend S is a really good recommendation, for sure. Also, the intro's a banger. Bludgeoning Angel, Dokuro-chan. I said I'd probably not talk about OVAs, but, like, this is only an OVA. So you have a main character, and you have this girl from, like, the future, I think. Or, no, she's from heaven. She has a halo. She goes back in time. No, not back. Was it back into... Yeah, I think she went back in time. Because the main character, when he gets older, like, finds a way to, like, make girls look like kids. Yes, he's basically a pedophile. But in... You know, you have a little bit of sympathy for the character because he only does that as an adult, apparently, whereas when he's a kid in middle school in this anime, he obviously isn't like that. But she needs to stop him from finding out how to do that. She's trying to constantly distract him and stuff. Basically, as well, she's able to revive him whenever she wants, so she can kill him in the most gruesome way possible, and then just immediately revive him. There's a bigger plot, as well, of, like... There's a bigger plot of, like... trying to take her away from him. Because she was supposed to kill him, but she decided not to. But, yeah. I gave it a 5. The animation's okay, but a lot of characters are dicks. It's supposed to be kind of like a... You know how, like, it's kind of naturally kind of mean-spirited. I guess what I can most similarly compare it to is South Park, even though they're not that similar. Just in terms of, like, characters being assholes and you being okay with it. Like, it's just, you know. But it doesn't really do anything special. And it ends on a cliffhanger. And you see Season 2 here. It's only 2 episodes. I think it cuts stuff out of the manga because the cliffhanger's kind of resolved in, like, the most annoying way possible. And you don't really see how it gets resolved, but you see how it gets... You don't see it. But you see what it would have been. Like, you know what it would have been. It's just obvious. And it's just really stupid. Also, it's more horny than the last one for some reason. But it's basically just more of the show. It's worse than Season 1, but not by much. It's not saying much. Maybe I could give bump up Season 1 to a 6, maybe. That might be more fair. I might do that, I'm not sure. But yeah. Dude, I only watched these in March. It's only been like 5 weeks. It felt way longer than that. I knew it was 2023, but I thought it was like February. Or even like January. Bocce the Rock is incredible. Yeah, so 4 girls start a band. One of them is like pretty mellow. One of them is like the popular girl at school. One of them's kind of hyperactive, and one of them is Bocce. the pink-haired girl who is extremely anxious, and she learns to try and get over it. I mean, she's still very anxious by the end of the season, but she helps, like, with the help of her friends and stuff, she kind of gets over, like, the worst of it, and is able to actually, like, do performances. And sometimes people don't like the music, but a lot of the time people do, and, you know, she's gotta learn that most people are not her enemy and stuff like that, and, you know, not every single thing, but she is basically the embodiment of, like, a lot of people, a lot of Gen Z people these days, I feel like. Everyone's anxious, you know? But this is just, like, my only real criticism of it is that I feel like she's able to, like, do performances kind of too soon. Because obviously you know, it's not like all this happens in the span of a week. It's over the span of, like, months. But given how they crank her anxiousness up to 11 most of the time, the fact that she's actually able to play on stage, someone like me, on the anxious scale, I get like 8 out of 10 or something, and she's like 11 out of 10, and even after months, I don't know if I'd be able to play on the stage, whereas she's able to. Well, when she first plays a performance, like, I think that one's in the span of like a month or something. So it's a tiny bit unbelievable in that regard. And also, its concept is quite simple, so it's hard for it to really, like, super stand out. But trust me, it is technically kind of a slice of life. It is one of the best slice of lives you could ever watch, and the manga's still going. There's bound to be a season 2. It is amazing, basically. It is absolutely amazing. The animation's fantastic, the music is fantastic. The pacing's also a little sometimes, but yeah, no, it seriously is really, really, really good. Okay, so if I could remove one of the Attack on Titans and one of the Kaguya-samas, I would definitely have Bocchi in the... I'd probably have a... I'm not sure, because then I'd be able to fit 2 listings. I'm not sure... Bocchi would obviously go behind Spike's Family, but I'm not sure what would go behind... I don't know if the final one would go above Bocchi or not. We'll need to look through more of the 9s. But yeah, no, it's seriously incredible. Baku no Pico. Watched it as a meme with a friend, and it was like novelty. Yeah, no, it's technically, if you overlook its obvious flaw, then it's like kind of whatever, but like, God, dude, you just can't fucking ignore something like that. The fuck is this? Bakutachi did... What the fuck is this? Hold on. Oh, I remember this anime. A guy befriends, like, all these girls, and, like, they kind of all low-key have crushes on him. It never really goes anywhere, though, and the second season is definitely worse than the first one. It's, like, as for, like, the first season, well, these are OVAs, actually. But yeah, as it goes, like, this season is, like, you know, visuals are good enough, the characters are kind of interesting, some plots, you know, there's some funny jokes, but yeah, it's like one of the weaker 7s. Batum is literally Fortnite. Put gamers on a fucking island, and it's like, that's when to survive gingerbread. Its ending is really bad. I'm just gonna say that now. I'm not gonna say what it is, but the ending is really bad. Automatically docks a point. It's just not, you know, the pacing's a bit fucked, and like, the characters aren't interesting, and I don't know, not that memorable either. The concept's okay, I guess, and like the visuals are good, and like it's hard to describe it when it's been, you know, when I watched it in 2018, but yeah, 7 out of 10. If you want Fortnite, but like not funny, then I guess you have that. Corpse Party is pretty fucked up. It's pretty creepy, and the visuals are good. Basically, a bunch of kids, like, get teleported to, like, this fucking creepy-ass, like, mansion or something. Haunted house, mansion, I can't remember what it is. And they keep getting killed. They need to, like, retrieve, like, these, things. I can't remember what they are, but they need to retrieve a bunch of, like, these things. It might be souls or something, I don't know. And then they need, like, their card that they use to get into that universe, to get out of the universe. Basically, long story short, and this will be spoilery, because basically anything I can say about it is going to be spoilers. Corpse Party is a game on the PSP, and I believe it has, like, 7 endings or something. And only 2 of them, I think, are good endings. Quote-unquote good endings, whereas, like, some characters actually live. Some characters are guaranteed to die no matter what. The anime uses the second best ending, basically. So what happens? The fucking thing is, like, collapsing, like the building, but 2 girls and a guy are able to make it out. The guy has the wrong paper, but he tries anyway, and the girls do make it back into the world, but the guy doesn't, except his arms do, if I remember correctly, so the girls are freaked out. And then, the very final scene is a girl with, like, fucking intense trauma in her room, and you don't get to see a scene of the other girl. It is pretty creepy, though. Like, it is pretty, you know, I can't think of the word, but it's not scary, but it's like, you know. But anyway, apparently the best ending is that the guy does make it through, and the girl doesn't get, like, extreme trauma. I think that's the best ending. I think the third best ending, which is the least bad ending, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure they all die, like, at the thing. I'm pretty sure, like, they have, like, the wrong papers, or, like, they get crushed by, like, a part of the building or something like that. I swear something like that happens. Or it might be that only one of them makes it out alive or something like that. It was, you know, it wasn't a good ending. The major problem with Corpse Party is that its pacing is way too fast, because they skip collecting some of the souls and stuff, and it's just way too fast. And that is a massive problem. If it was properly paced, it'd be at least an 8 out of 10, but instead it gets like a weak 7. But sometimes it's just a bit shocking for the sake of it, but yeah, no, like, that is, like, the main thing. And also, I don't care for, like, horror stuff anyway. But yeah, the pacing is so bad. Out of everything I'm really talking about, it might even have, like, the worst pacing I've seen. God, is this video gonna end soon? I see Defrag, and I probably have a lot to say about Defrag. Anyway, Cowboy Bebop? I didn't watch Cowboy Bebop. Why did I read? Huh? Why did I watch this? I don't remember watching it. What is this? Oh, I only watched it because it isn't that long enough time. I seriously don't remember watching it though. Wait a minute. I gave Cyberpunk a 9? I thought I gave it a 10. Shit, what? I thought I gave it a 10. I mean, I know it's too short, but, like, really? A 9? I mean, to be fair, that is a pretty big point. I guess that's just... Oh, dude, that kind of pains me. It's a really high 9, don't get me wrong, but God, that sucks. Wait, hold on, man. No, hold on. I ranked it above Chainsaw Man, but I gave Chainsaw Man a 10. Are they in the wrong order? Chainsaw Man has less flaws, but I kind of... Cyberpunk sat with me for longer. I thought about it, like, every day for like, the next week or something, whereas with Chainsaw Man I only thought about it for, like, 2 days. Cyberpunk has a little more staying power. Fuck, dude. Okay, I'll figure it out after this video, but I'll probably put Chainsaw Man ahead of something. Dude, I feel like I can't give it a 10. The pacing is too much. And a couple characters are a bit too much of a dick sometimes. Defrag basically is just taking like a volume or whatever from like the manga and making it an anime. There is no like conclusion to the show. It's just taking a part of the manga. Also, there is a little bit of a romance thing going on, but it happens out of absolutely nowhere because they just took it from the fucking manga. Basically, the first couple episodes are really good. They're really funny. And then it dips a little bit in quality, and then it dips even more, and it dips even more. And the last couple episodes just honestly kind of fucking sucked. They're like 5 out of 10. This anime is incredibly inconsistent. This anime was made in 2013, and its visuals make it look like it was from like 2017 or 18. It looks really good for the time. Characters are good, like the jokes are funny, the music's good. And then it just fucking dips in quality like kind of quickly. Because the love interest stuff is just out of nowhere, and like there's like this unnecessary battle between like two groups of people, and then like there's no actual ending to the show. It's a week 7 overall. I want to say more, but like, well, look at the thing. Went from a 9 to a 7 pretty fast from the world's worst pacing. No sequel when it desperately needs one. Romance shit that came out of nowhere. It stopped being funny like 70% through, and the last couple episodes sucked. I can't give it an 8. I just can't. You could even argue I could justify a 6, but the first 2 episodes were so good, dude. You're like 9 out of 10. Just having so much fun. I was like, wow, have I not seen this before? But yeah. Unfortunate as fuck. Also, it's jokes become pretty repetitive. It's one of those anime where a character, so main character is character A, and then when I say character B, I'm talking just like whoever isn't like the main character. You know those old anime where character B says something and then there's a pause and then character A like shouts a reaction but you can't actually see his face or whatever? Where girls like, teehee, this thing I'm doing is normal, and the guy's like, that's not normal! And then it cuts to like the next shot where you can see his face and it doesn't even look like he's been shouting, you know, that type of thing. They do that all the time, and it's fine at first, but then it just gets old. And I know it's from 2013, but like, Danganronpa. This one's obviously, the first one's based off, you know, the pacing is way too fast. Way too fast. The voice acting is abysmal because only 2 of the voice actors return. Basically, the only good thing about it, and it's a horrible way, dude, if you have watched this without playing the game, you fucked yourself because you know what happens. You know what characters die and stuff. Basically, Danganronpa, characters get put in the school. It's a killing game. They're incentivized to kill because then they can make it like out of the school, basically. And when somebody dies, you have to figure out, like, in a class trial, like, who killed who, or if it was a suicide, or, you know, if there was a double murder, like, was that one person's fault, or 2 people, or, like, you know, just stuff like that. And the game is great. The game is fantastic. If I'd rank the games, I think I'd rank them, like, 2, 1, 3, maybe? From best to worst. 3 is still pretty good. It's mostly about, like, its ending is not that good. And 2 expanded, while 3 kind of regressed. There's also a spin-off game that you basically have to play, because it's attached to, like, the story, and that's, like, a 6 out of 10. It's not that good. It's okay, though, I guess. I just remember playing it when it was, like, really stuffy in the attic, and I remember, like, a giant moth came in at one point when I was, like, in the sewers. I don't know why I'm randomly remembering that. But, yeah, so I have a lot of, like, I have quite an emotional connection to the Danganronpa series, but the anime is bad. It's just a super fast version of the first game. In fact, The second trial is fucked. I'm gonna try and not say it like spoilers, like not spoilery. Something happens in the trial where it's like, wow, this character's a dick, but they fucked it up in the anime, and I can't remember exactly how they fucked it up. I think they either made it so the character wasn't a dick, or that he was too much of a dick. Well, you know the gender of the character now, SMH. But yeah, it was something like that, and like they fucked it. And again, the voice acting's abysmal. If I watched the dub of an anime, I'll say it. This was the first one in this list where I watched the dub because the games, you know, I listened to those dubbed. So, you know, but again, no returning voice actors for a couple of them. It's just pretty bad. The thing that saves it is that the visuals are pretty good, and I think they reanimated the executions, and they all look beautiful. They're all super well made. Then you have, why do they all say Danganronpa 3? It was Danganronpa 2. Then, there were 2 Danganronpa animes, right? Where, like, you have to watch episode 1 of one of the seasons, and then episode 1 of the other season, then watch episode 2 of the first season, then watch episode 2 of the other season. You have to watch it like that. One of them takes place in the past, before the events of Danganronpa 1, and one of them takes place after the events of Danganronpa 2, I think it is? Or it might be, yeah, I think it's after 2. It might be after 1, but I think it's after 2. And you gotta watch them like that. They're a lot better because they use the lore rather than just recapping what happens in the games. But the voice acting's still bad. In one of them, in the one that takes place after Danganronpa 2, a lot of the characters are so horrifically unlikable. There isn't really much I can say without spoiling anything, so I want to hurry up with these videos, so yeah. Basically, Danganronpa anime stuff, overall, not really that good. Oh, it's just an OVA. Pull a fucking movie then. Death Note, everybody knows Death Note. And everybody agrees the second, I think it's like the last third of the anime or something, or like the last 40% of it or something, is just way worse than the first half. The thing is, right, you have the main character, and then you have the character trying to stop, and the appeal of it when you're younger is like they're both equally morally in the right, but when you get older, you kind of realize that the main character is not in the right. Because he's still way too extreme. Like, he'll test things in the book, and like, you know, he's clearly more in the wrong than the other character trying to stop him, and, you know. There isn't really much I can say. Everybody knows Death Note, but it is still good overall. The first half's way better than the second half, but I feel like it's aged a bit, and wouldn't be as good to watch now, probably, but you have to respect what it was able to do back in the day. Death Parade is an anime where a woman dies and she gets to be like... People have to like play a game. I think... Fuck, it's hard to remember, hold on. After death, either heaven or hell awaits most humans, but for a select few, death brings them to Quindecim, a bar where only pairs of people who die at the same time as each other can enter. Attending the bar is an enigmatic figure known as anyway, who also acts as an arbiter. Dude, why the fuck is... Dude, the audio's so fucking loud. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. He passes judgment on those who wind up at place by challenging them to a life-threatening game. These games determine if the person's soul will reincarnate. Yeah, so two people have to play games. You know, they can play like poker or pool or bowling or whatever. And whoever wins determines if they go to heaven or hell. Basically. The animation is amazing, the concept is pretty good, and it's quite sad towards the end. It is quite sad and stuff, and it's really interesting. But it's quite short and, like, flawed, because it's like, why would they have to play a game? It's kind of fucking stupid. And also, episode 2, if I remember correctly, has, like, really weird pacing. I wish I could give it a higher rating, but I just can't justify it. Denki Guy, is this the manga shop one? Yeah, this is the one with characters on a manga shop. I don't remember this one very well at all, because I watched it in 2019, when the hand pain was, like, getting pretty bad. But there's a little bit of romance, it's mostly comedy, and it's... The 2014's visuals are really good, good music, you know, just... Yeah, it's just pretty good. It's slice of life, but, like, it's got a little more to it than just that, so I think... Nagatoro, it's one of those, anime where the girl likes a guy, but she, like, kind of shows that by teasing him instead. Nagatoro is really extreme with it, though. When we get to a later anime, Takagi-san, that's a way more lighthearted version. But Nagatoro really kicks it up a notch. I found this anime because they'd always say sus all the time. But yeah, I think Season 2 is better than Season 1. But yeah, it is good. It absolutely is good. But Nagatoro is too... She's too smug. Her face, I hate how massive her smug is all the time. And... she's just too aggressive and stuff. And there's not enough progress made in Season 1. Season 2, there are some things that are kind of annoying. And she's still as aggressive as ever, basically. If anything, it could arguably even worse. But more progress is made. It is better than Season 1. You know, Season 1's probably like a low 7, and Season 2 is like a high 7, probably. There isn't really much else I can say as a teasing anime where they slowly get more and more attracted to each other. There are some side characters that are alright, nothing groundbreaking. Dragon Ball, I don't really need to say much other than the original Dragon Ball is underrated. A lot of people just see Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Kai, but honestly, like, the original Dragon Ball is very good as well, in my opinion. There is something nice about just seeing characters that aren't so ridiculously overpowered, but are still quite strong, you know? Good story, good arcs. I love the first tournament arc, where Jackie Chun enters the tourney. It is a pretty good anime. GT is terrible. There isn't really much else I can say. It's so bad that the creator was just like, oh yeah, GT's not canon, by the way, XD. Like, that's literally what he did. I have like a small cut in the side of my fucking thumb, and I'm gonna have to put... I haven't had to do this in a while, but I'm gonna have to put hand sanitizer in it and make it sting the fuck. But you know it's doing wonders if it's stinging. Fuck. Fuck, 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 fucking fuck, fuck, fuck. It's to stop infections and shit. We used to have a lot of hand sanitizer anyway, even before COVID. But now we have even more. It was quite cheap as well, but now it's a bit more expensive because nobody uses it anymore. A lot of shops don't even offer it anymore when you walk in. Wales had a lockdown for like a super long time though. We had to wear masks for like an entire year or something, like straight. An hour 40, Jesus. But yeah, it's like, the only notable thing about GT is that Goku goes back to Kid Goku, and then towards the end he actually goes into Super Saiyan 4, but yeah, it's just bad. It's just bad all around. You need to one-up Dragon Ball Z, not go back to like original Dragon Ball power levels. Dragon Ball Super, I probably shouldn't give it an 8. I feel like that might be a bit... The first, like, 40 episodes or something are basically just recapping the movie, but, like, making it a bit different. The animation's kind of bad for when it came out, which is, I think, like, 2017 or 2018. At least for, like, the first half of it. It's kind of rushed. But when it gets into, like, the tournament arc, it's way more interesting. There isn't really much I can say. It's a lot more simple than Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, it's more lighthearted, not as intense. I think it is worse than Dragon Ball Z, but I don't think it's like so far apart. I should probably turn... I should either make Z a 9 or make Super 7. I might do that, I'm not sure. Speaking of, Z has way too many filler episodes, and the ending doesn't make sense. Because it leads into Dragon Ball GT, but now it's, you know, so it basically doesn't have a proper ending anymore. And also, the creators have admitted that after the Freezer arc, they just kept going, and they actually just made stuff up as they went along. And you can definitely tell. Before that, the pacing was like perfect, but then after the Freezer arc, it's just all fucked. But it is still pretty cool and interesting in some ways. I think Cell and Boo are cool. But yeah, no, it's, like, Kai is just a lot better. I haven't seen much of Kai, but I know if all it's doing is cutting out filler, then it's just obviously objectively better. You could argue some filler is good, but Dragon Ball is really long anyway. Dude, we need a One Piece Kai. Holy shit. It'd be, like, at most, like, 800 episodes long. But it'd probably be more like 700. 100. God, dude. Imagine One Piece where, like, things actually happen. Anyway, yeah, Dragon Ball Z, everybody knows it's very good. Yeah. I don't really remember the movies. I just binged these movies. I'm not gonna go over them. Jesus Christ. Dropkick on My Devil. You have these characters, these angels and devils that live in the human world, and a lot of the devils are actually good people. The only one that's bad is this, snake character, known as Jashin-chan. She always regenerates, so she never dies or anything, but she's a really horrible person, basically. And she always gets killed in play. She's trying to kill this, like, red-haired girl, because that'll let it go back to hell, but red-haired girl's just not having it. And I don't even know why she wants to go back anyway, because the human life is good anyway. And these characters are thousands of years old. They're not lollies, though, don't worry. Well, I mean, they got, like, a tiny edge, but anyway. These characters are, there's more, the animation's good, the music's good, some of the plots are interesting, but it's surprisingly lighthearted for Jashin-chan getting killed all the time. It's just a normal slice of life, except there's a tiny bit of conflict with the angels, but not that much. The angels warm up to all the characters eventually, all the devils, except for Jashin-chan. But yeah, she's just a very bad person. And then bad thing will happen to her. And then usually in the form of like killing her or eating her or whatever, and then she just regenerates back. So it's pretty basic, so I gave it a 6. And, Season 2... I gave Season 3 and 5, but I gave Season 2 a 4. Okay, I don't know why. I feel like, nah, that should be a 5. It's just more Jashin-chan, but it's just... hardly any developments are made. It's basically the exact same thing as before. Except Jashin-chan's even more of an asshole. It's just not, you know, it just doesn't keep you engaged. In Season 3, they do have, like, this long arc of Jashin-chan, like, going across countries and stuff, but it is pretty boring, to be honest. Jashin-chan as a whole is very disappointing. I won't lie. Although in Season 3, they have a Hatsune Miku reference in, like, nearly every episode, which is pretty cool. Flip Flappers, these two girls go into, like, alternate dimensions and stuff. I don't remember it very well because towards the end of it was when they had hand pain. I remember it being pretty intense. I think the characters argue at one point. I don't remember very well, but I do remember the visuals being very good. And the plot being interesting. Food Wars is really good. It's like porn food. the joke with it is that characters are like, there's no way this food is good, and they eat it, and like it's so good that they, not literally most of the time, but yeah, like the clothes will like rip off, or like it'll show like that's how good the food is, or like they make orgasm noises and stuff. But you'd be surprised. Season 1 is amazing. It's intense. It's building up to a bigger plot. Like the characters are interesting and fun. The animation's amazing. And then, you know, Season 2 is basically just more of that. It builds on it more. Season 3, there's like a big... I think Season 2 has a tournament arc as well, but here's the thing, right? From Season 3 onwards, I think it is, they just keep doing tournament arcs. Just every single time, that's all they do now. It's like, this student is going up against this really experienced guy, and then there's like, oh, here's the dish, and it's like, insert dish here, and it's, and then all the characters, they're always like in some fucking cage or something stupid. They never get to do anything beyond like Season 3. They're always just like, no, that's like the main character's bad dish, he's not good with that one, or yes, it's the character's good dish, yes. And in the end, he always fucking wins anyway. This shit did not deserve to be 5 fucking seasons. I believe the 5th season is the final one. It did not deserve to be fucking... Dude, and that's all it is. It's just like... That's all they ever do in the last, like, 3 seasons. It's just like... This food is not going to be good. They eat it. It's like, oh my god, I'm getting an orgasm. Oh my god, and then it just ends. Seasons 1 and 2 are excellent, though. It might sound like I'm bitching too much for anime that I rate like 8 and 7 and stuff, but... Individually, it's a lot less painful, but when you think about the show as a whole, and like how more than half of it pretty much is tournament arcs, it's just like, holy shit, dude. Especially when you know what the outcome's gonna be every damn time. Oh yeah, the train arc. That's another pseudo-tournament one, but they spice it up a bit more. It's not just... It is more interesting than just that. Frag time. There's like, you know, like a wheel decide. I used that, but for like anime. There was like a website where it just generates random anime for you to watch. And the first ever one it recommended me was Frag Time. It's a lesbian anime where a girl can like freeze time for like, I forget how long, like a few minutes. One of the girls is not open with how she feels at all, and she just plays a character basically. And the other girl tries to come out of her shell and stuff, but yeah, it's like basically kind of lesbian thingy, but it is mostly focusing on the characters not understanding each other and getting into conflict. It's only an hour long, but it is actually pretty good. I feel like the 6.5 rating is not fair. I genuinely think it's good. Now, a lot of people probably say, but if it was a boy and girl, I'd love it, you know, but I think it's just good. You know, the lesbian stuff isn't like a huge, like, aspect to it, really. You know, it's mostly about two people trying to connect, at least until, like, the last, like, third. I think it's pretty good. I definitely think it's worthy of a 7. It needs to be longer though, and they should have taken the concept further. I think it would have been better as like a season of anime rather than like a 1 hour thing, but it's good. God, Gabrielle Dropout. I don't remember it like well basically at all. Oh, is there another Heaven one? Oh yeah, she's a fallen angel. It's basically slice of life, but like the characters are kind of like angels, and they get into a little bit of conflict with that. The animation's good, the characters are good, the comedy's good. It isn't really... It's not like that, you know, aspect of it is just to add a bit more spice to it, basically. Just a little more to a slice of life. But even without it, the anime is basically just as good. Just generic slice of life, but the characters are really good, and the visuals are good and stuff. I don't know if it's worthy of an 8, I might need to rewatch it. Oh, Gamers? God, Gamers sucks. When you hear of an anime called Gamers, you expect an epic gamer experience with lots of hot babes, but I can assure this isn't the case. Angry emoji lol. The first couple episodes were good. Basically, I think somebody gets into like a gaming club or something, and then like there's like 2 characters get together, and then another 2 characters get together, I think. But then a person from couple A thinks that the other one's cheating, and person from couple B thinks the same thing, and they eventually conclude that one of them from couple A is going out with the other one from couple B, and it's just really fucking bad. The visuals are just like okay, the characters are okay, the music's okay, the concept is kind of bad, and like it's just fucking, I did not enjoy it at all. It's not good. Maybe I was too harsh on it, I don't know, but I'm never watching it again. Ghost Stories. Ghost Stories is normally bad, but basically, it's just like a bunch of kids getting into like, have to deal with a bunch of monsters and ghosts and stuff. But basically, the English dubbing team, because you do need to watch the dub for this anime to be good at all. The English dubbing team were told that they can't mess with the animation at all, but when it comes to the script, they can do literally whatever they want, basically. So they basically just said, fuck it, we're going to make the script very funny. So the characters have been turned into completely different people, and the circumstances are different, you know. They're still in these situations good looking for ghosts and stuff, but one of the characters is like a hardcore Christian, for example. And I think one of the characters is like I'm pretty sure the other girl's like a lesbian or something as well. I think one of the characters is like fucking racist. Like, it's really fucking funny. And of course a huge novelty of it is that it's an official anime. Like, you would think that it was like an abridged anime or something on YouTube, but no, it isn't that. And that is a huge bit of its novelty, otherwise it'd be like a 7 out of 10. And a problem with Ghost Stories is that because they can't change certain things, there are times where like there's basically no dialogue and animations don't really convey how the character's personality. It's hard to explain. But there were scenes like without like a minute long that are kind of supposed to like spook you a little bit, but they just don't, because the anime is so not serious. But like those scenes have to be in because they weren't allowed to mess with the animation or anything. And also, the last few episodes are pretty fillery. And the anime just ends. There's no, like, proper conclusion, it just ends. But yeah, make no mistake, it's very funny, and it has a huge novelty to it, and I would highly recommend it. Gurren Lagann, I feel like, is overrated. There's a huge thing that happens halfway through, and they have massive balls to do that, and I highly respect it, but otherwise, not huge on it. You see this girl, the one who's pretty revealing cleavage. The beginning of the anime, I believe she's either 14 or 15. Anyway, it's about these characters that, like, live underground, and they want to go to the surface, but then there's a lot of stuff that happens at the surface. And then there's like this huge plot that happens in the second half. But I kind of zoned out for some of it. It is a little boring. Maybe it's because I had hand pain, but I don't know, man. I'm just not really fucking with it, you know what I mean? I'm not really fucking with it. But the animation's good, some of the characters are good, and there's a huge twist that's like pretty cool, and the plot's alright, and you know, there's like a low 7. Haiku as a whole, basically, is just players getting into volleyball. They're bringing a dead team back to life, and they're playing a bunch of matches and stuff. There's only so much you can do with that. One of the characters is one of the characters from fucking My Hero, and it's like so obvious. But yeah, the voice actor. But yeah, it's just volleyball. Exaggerate a little bit, but not too much. It is just good. But yeah, it's funny, and it's a little intense, and it has good animation and music and stuff, so that's all I can really say for it, especially because I'm just trying to get through this quickly now. But yeah, no, that's basically what it is. Just good volleyball shit. Oh yeah, my brother was telling me before years ago, like, this anime's good, and I was just like, nah, this anime's not good. This anime's not good. It's volleyball. That sounds stupid, but no, it's actually pretty fucking good. If you give it a chance, it is pretty good. I don't think you could ever dislike it, at least. You probably at least find it alright. I think there's one more season left that's gonna come out, I think. Because they're in the situation where, like, some of the team members are gonna, like, leave soon, because they're in, like, the final year or whatever. Oh god, Happy Sugar Life. Happy Sugar Life makes me uncomfortable. It's a psychological horror anime. The main character is basically, like, a pedophile. She, like, kidnaps this fucking child. And, like, she like, loves him or whatever, but then obviously he's too young to understand and all that shit. Eventually, I'm just gonna spoil it because it's fucking terrible anime. She gets found out. She kills her friend who was gonna, like, snitch on her. Her crazy aunt, like, starts a fire in the apartments. And then they're both, and then the girl and the kid were gonna jump, and then she blocks his fall so that only she dies, and then the kid is psychologically damaged, basically. It's genuinely really uncomfortable. It's like, yeah, but that's the point, and for the billionth time, that doesn't make it good. No, you don't get it. It's supposed to be fucking terrible. There's other things that happen too, and they're uncomfortable. It's really hard to watch. It's all really uncomfortable. The only thing I'll give it is that if you are looking for something really fucked up, it builds up the fucked thing. It's already fucked, and it makes it even more fucked as it goes on. It makes it more and more and more fucked. Also, another character later on becomes a fucking pedophile. So it builds up to it quite well, I guess. And the visuals are good, and the intro is good. But yeah, it's fucking all basic. Oh yeah, this is the Ayaya anime. It's pretty good. It's just basically slice of life. The two blonde-haired girls are from England, even though obviously voice actors. They try to make it kind of like interesting by having the characters sometimes speak English, but it's obvious that like it's just Japanese people like not really understanding what they're saying. It's good. There isn't really much I can say. It's just generic slice of life, and it's good. And as Ayaya, High Score Girl. I think it's like entirely CG if I remember correctly. This kid is like playing arcade. I think it's like the 80s or something, or it might be the 90s. I can't remember. I think it's the 80s. And the kid's playing arcade games, and there's this like girl who's like, you know, not social, hardly. If I remember correctly, I think she never talks throughout like the entire show. But she's really good at fighting games, and they build a connection. And then there's a season 2. I don't see it right now on my thingy for some reason, but season 2 builds on it by having another potential love interest, and you know, they're a couple years older and stuff, and I remember how season 2 ends. It does not end good. The ending's bad. I can't remember if I ranked it the same or lower or whatever, but the rest of it is probably better overall, but the ending is bad, and yeah. After being rejected, I shaved and took in a high school runaway. There is this girl who lives with this guy, and the girl like tries to pay him back with a body, but then the guy's like, no bro, you're underage, and like, bruh, you're supposed to be in school, you're supposed to be at home. Eventually, he takes her home, and it's a bad show. I give it a 5. Visuals are good, and some of the characters are good, but basically, they justify rape, like, pretty hard. There's a character, like, a lot of the time, like, the girl would get used by men to, like, sleep in. Alright, that's a moment of good things happen to good people, and my headphones just fell. Good things happen to good people. Water bottle leaked a tad, but I didn't get much water on the floor, but that's still cringe. My headphones fell on the floor first. One of the characters, like, one of those guys, like, literally tries to R-word her. Because he works at, like, a shop or whatever, and he sees her, and then he literally tries to do that to her. And then, like, an episode or two later, she's like, it's fine, bro, I guess I forgive you. It's like, fuck off, dude. And then he's just kind of seen as, like, a good guy for the rest of the fucking show. Anyway, eventually, they go back to her home, and her mother is really fucking horrible. She is absolutely fucking horrible. And basically, the ending is like... I can't even remember it exactly, but it's like... You know, she ran away from home because the mother blamed her for her friend, for the girl's friend killing herself. And mother's like, it's all your fault, I hate you. Physical and emotional abuse, basically. And then the conclusion to the anime is basically the mother saying, like, I'm giving you like basically no free range as a human until you turn 18. And that's basically it, and she still hates her, still hates the main character. It's like, but the mother's supposed to be a bitch. Once again, wow, this anime is supposed to be absolutely abysmal. Wow, that makes it good. Like, no, shut up. Like, no. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. There are a couple scenes that are legitimately good. There's some good jokes, the animation's good, but fuck that noise, dude. Like, that... the things I complain about, like, they are not excusable. They are just not. If it went for the justifying R-word thing, and if the ending was actually good, it'd get like at least a 7, but nope, now it's a 5. High School DxD is really bad, basically. They do show him full-on nudity. The guy is like with like these fucking girls, and these girls are kind of, I think they're like angels or whatever, I can't remember. Or devils maybe. And they're all like have huge boobs and stuff, and they're all like really sexual. And like the guy is just like he's so generic. The art style's super generic as well. His thing is that he's wearing like this like arm thing where every time he gets angry or something, it like doubles his power, and when he gets really angry, then he's able to boost his power to like incredible levels. But yeah, nah, it's just fucking bad. Season 1 has more of a plot than Seasons 2 and 3. Season 1 has a plot of, like... It's like something to do with, like, some weird, like, chess game thing, and, like... You know, there's more emphasis on, like, meeting characters and, like, building a relationship with... Not a literal relationship, like a dynamic with them. Season 2 and 3 are just Season 1, but worse. But they're all bad anyway. High School of the Dead, if you didn't know, the reason why there's only one season and why like Season 1 just kind of ends, Season 2 would exist, but basically the guy was writing the manga and he fucking died. I think he died of a heart attack or something, so yeah, it'll never exist. Season 1 is a bit eh. It's alright, you know, decent concept, decent animation, decent characters, but like, it's too sexual and a bit too generic at times. I'd probably even give it a 7, honestly. If I watched it today, my standards are kind of high, I'd probably give it a 6. That's all I can really say about it. Oh yeah, there's High School Girl too, but I already said about that. Yeah, I give it a 7 instead. Oh wait. Extra Stage is an add-on to High School Girl 2, I forgot about that. But it still adds up to one whole season, so it's like... Umara-chan is a slice of life. there's this girl at school who's really popular and everyone likes her, but when she's at home, she turns into like a tiny little 1 foot tall gremlin, and she's really like lazy. She's a slob, basically. She's like slob, lazy dude, and only a couple people know her secret, and that's all it is. And her brother like takes care of her and all that, but it's basic. What it is for the most part is generic slice of life, except a girl's trying to keep a secret. But you don't really care that much if people find out, either way. It's good, but not great. Inako no? Oh, it's like some... I think that's like some dancing on music anime or something. It's a super generic slice of life. I don't really think I even need to get into it. How heavy are the dumbbells you lift? It's an anime where characters go to the gym. This is one part where it turns out she's really good at boxing, and you think it's going to turn into a boxing anime, and then it literally just doesn't. There's also a joke with the training instructor. Every time his clothes are off, he's like extremely ripped. Imagine Johnny Bravo like ×3. He's like unbelievably ripped. Isn't that funny? Also, the girls are sexualized a little bit much, but yeah, no, it's still a good show. Good music, good visuals, good characters, interesting plots considering a lot of it just takes place at the gym. I might even rewatch it. It's so bingeable, you know? There's no season 2, unfortunately. It probably never will be a season 2. In the Heart of Kunoichi Tsubaki. This is an anime where there's like this village tribe thingy of girls, and it's girls only, and there's like rumors about men, basically. And how men are all evil and stuff like that, and the girls always have curiosities about men, but then the teacher's like, bro, don't you go looking for men or whatever, there's men in the woods are dangerous, and it builds up from there, and you get to see a little bit of interesting... You know, main character is like kind of 2 sidekicks. The blonde one's kind of annoying. Again, the visuals, they're good, although a bit weird, and, you know, so on. It's just generic good. I would like a season 2, but I wouldn't kill for it or anything. Interviews with Monster Girls, there's like this high school or whatever where all the I think it's a girls-only school, maybe. I can't remember, but... all the characters have, like, some sort of quirk. Like, one of the characters doesn't have a head. Or, I mean, they have a head, but they have to carry it around everywhere, and they have, like, a flame in their thing. I don't remember it very well. It's basically very generic slice of life, but with that little quirk to it, it's good. Again, just good visuals. You know, just... what gonna say at that point. Inugami-san to Nekayama-san. I think I might know what this is. Yeah, this is kind of a pretty horny anime. One of the main characters acts like a cat, kind of, the personality of a cat, and the other one acts like a dog. And the other characters kind of ship them together a lot, but every episode is only 3 minutes long. It is pretty whatever. It's just, you know, it's very short, so it's hard to get offended by it or anything. But yeah, it's basically just a little low-key horny. But yeah, it's not crazy. I can't really talk about this one very much. But basically, if it like turns all these characters into like kind of like chibi designs and makes them like go to like school. And it's taken from 4 anime, I believe. Yeah, Overlord, Konosuba, ReZero, and Yujo Senkai. So it's kind of fun seeing the characters interact with each other. The episodes are only 11 minutes long. It's not crazy, but it's good fun. There is a season 2, but I haven't watched it because they introduce even more characters and I haven't seen those anime. I have a rule where if something's connected to my list, I have to watch it. That fucks me over. One Piece did a collab with like one anime that looks like rip-off Dragon Ball, and now I have to watch that, and it's really fucking long and just ugh. I'm gonna watch that as like in like fucking 10 years from now. Joshikara is not bad. They get kind of self-aware. It's like fourth wall jokes, and like they're all pretty, you know. Yeah, there's a lot of fourth wall jokes, but I don't really like fourth wall jokes. The outro is fucking awesome. Or it might be the intro, I can't remember, one of them's really good. But yeah, it's basically... They work at a... I can't remember really, but yeah, it's basically slice of life. K-On! Is really good. It's just girls playing in a band, and they just fuck around and have, but the animation's fantastic. All the characters are really lovable. All the music's good. I know it's just another generic slice of life, but this one it really does stand out because the animation's really good and the characters are really good. And there's a season 2. It's just even more K-On! There is an extra character added, and dude, it gets emotional. In the last couple episodes of season 2 get really emotional. There is one episode that just builds up to the movie, though. The movie's good. They go to London, but it's not as good as I was hoping for. I basically only watched season 2 so I could watch the movie, but as you can see, I watched them like several months apart. It's not long enough, really, even though it's an hour 50, and I don't know, it's just, the stakes aren't crazy high or anything, it's just, they can just go to one, I don't know, yeah. It was good, though. You already know about Kaguya-sama. The only one I didn't really go into a ton of detail on was season 2. The season 2 just feels a bit filler. Oh wait, I gave it a 9, okay. Yeah, it's like a really low 9, though. It's just really... fillery, yeah. In comparison, because season 3 builds so much. Like, if season 3 were, like, a few episodes longer, it could have easily just made up for season 2. Season 2 didn't really need to exist. Season 2 felt refreshing when it was new, but now that it's fully connected with season 3, it just... It is still really good, but it just doesn't really have a true reason to exist. Other than introducing a couple characters and giving a couple of the characters, like, more story. Kakegurui is pretty good. It's a school where it's all dependent on, like, gambling. Like, your position in the school is based on gambling. And there's this girl that comes to school, and she's amazing at gambling, and she's, like, taking down, like, the top dogs and all that shit. It's pretty intense, and the animation's really good. For 2017, the animation's really good. Really interesting anime. And, you get a lot of mileage out of it for fucking 12 episodes. It's just good stuff. However, the sequel, I give a 7. It kind of ends on kind of like a cliffhanger, and I don't think it's ever gonna get another season, and like, it's just... It kind of loses a bit of its charm in season 2. It just doesn't do as much to engage you. Dude, it's 3 AM. I didn't think this would take this long. But yeah, season 2 is just Kakegurui, but worse. Izuken is really good. Izuken is basically the story of, these, 3 girls making, like, animation, basically. These 2 like animation, and this really tall one, I like her, but basically she's in it for the money, and that's, like, the joke. I love this anime, but I have a problem with it. Well, it's too short, but... And I don't think there's ever going to be a season 2. This came out in 2020. I mean, it could get a season, but... Yeah, it doesn't have a proper conclusion. Basically... Spoilers 10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1. There's this one side plot thing where the parent... Like, this girl on the right kind of has, like, rich parents who don't want to doing animation or whatever. They wanted to do acting or something like that. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was dancing, whatever. So she just get away from her parents, but then there's a confrontation with the parents, and after like a minute, the parents are like, okay, lol. Also, my other issue is that this girl doesn't have a redemption arc of like being kind of an asshole. No, she gets the characters what they want. She's able to argue with the teachers and get her way, and she does stand up for them, for the other 2 girls sometimes. But dude, they could have had their cake and eat it too. They could have, right? They needed a moment in the show where this girl is like defending her friends and being like, it's not about the money, it's about the fucking passion. It's, you know, they needed just that one little moment. It is implied that she isn't in it just for, like, the money and stuff, but, like, they don't, it's just a very mild implication. Like, here's what they should have done, right? The parents should have confronted the girl, and then she gets involved and is like, oi, knock off, bro. She's doing what she wants. She's my friend. We're in this together. She's doing something amazing. It's a huge passion project, and I'm supporting her all the way through. If they did that, not only would it have been a lot more convincing to have the parents just accept it, but it would have given her that necessary mini arc in her character development, and it's just not there. If those two things, again, double whammy, could have had the cake and eat it too, I would have given it a 10. I really would have. Yuzuken is so good. I might even, again, if I can only have one entry per series, I maybe would even put Yuzuken in the top 10. It's really good. I put Bocce above it, but this anime is amazing. Its style is so fucking good, and the intro and outro are really good, and like fucking so good. And it even gets a little bit intense a couple times. It's just, there is nothing to love because there is nothing. It is entirely devoid of substance. Me when I'm wrong. Me when I love an anime, but I say there's nothing to it. Smart. What is this? 50 minutes? I think it's just a special, yeah. It's probably whatever. Kiznaiva, it's not very good, honestly. I mean, it's a 7, but art style's really good, and the concept's good. These characters are kind of thrown into a situation where it's like, they get experimented on, basically, and, eventually it gets to a point where some characters can, like, read other characters' minds and other shit like that. But, like, it kind of, like, isn't very... The ending is pretty bad, and, like, it just... I don't know. It's just whatever, and it's just... Good concept, good visuals, good music and stuff, but then after that, it's just... I don't really... Fuck. It's a pretty low 7. I think it was rated higher back when it came out. Kokoro Connect is good. I'm gonna put this down to a 7. No, I don't want to go back. Because, I don't know why it's an 8. We'll get to that in a minute. These characters also kind of get experimented on, and they have stuff happen. There's like this kind of like main villain called Balloon Vine, if I remember correctly. I can't remember exactly like what goes on. Oh yeah, they switch bodies for a short period of time. That's like the first of it. And yeah, like fucky stuff happens. In this one, basically, it's just 4 more episodes of the good shit. But the reason why it deserves a 7.78 is because this is one part where they literally justify like abusive parents. This is one that like one of the main characters has like an abusive parent or whatever. I think it's an abusive dad. And then, I think they say something, the character's just like, well, I guess having an this isn't word for word what they say, but this is basically what they say. It's like, I guess having an abusive dad is better than having no dad at all. And it's just like, dude, what the fuck? At least I had a dad, and it's like, fucking hell, you'd be better off without one, fucking hell. So yeah, I gotta give it a 7. Still pretty good though, it's just Kokoro Connect, but more of it, except that one bit. Komi-kan Communicate is really good. This girl is incredibly anxious and she hardly ever talks. It was up to the main character to try and aid her, and her goal is to get 100 friends. My main issue with it is that the pacing is abysmal, and also, all the characters fucking are treated like a goddess for way too long, and it goes all the way to the end of Season 2 as well. All the side characters just fucking... The only characters that don't treat her like a fucking goddess are this guy and this character. I say this character because the character says they're a guy or a girl whenever they feel like it. Literally just whenever the situation feels like that's a joke, so I don't know. I think she's I have the vibe that she's a girl, but I just don't know. But yeah, these are the only two that don't see her as like a goddess. And it works at first, but like, dude, there's one point where like one of the characters like literally kidnaps one of the other character, and it's just completely forgiven. And like all the characters, whenever like they have a meeting or whatever, like they're sitting around at a house, like they always try to sit next to Komi, like, and it's just extreme. But yeah, no, the animation is fucking stellar. It's just really good shit, dude. It's just really good. But yeah, it has those two big problems. Also, there's like a very, very small romance thing building up between these two characters. This girl by here, the crazy bitch, I think she has like a crush on Komi. It's kind of funny. But we can't communicate season 2. This season has higher highs and lower lows. It does have higher highs and lower lows. It starts off as just more Komi, but just, again, at that point in the show, she's only made like 10 friends or something. She's trying to make 100. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude, how many seasons are we gonna have? But I feel like that eventually we're probably just gonna have a season just completely dedicated to just getting a fuck ton of friends. But like, even the show's concept is kind of stupid in that regard. Who has 100 friends? If it was like 10 friends, well, hell, 10's a bit low, but, you know, like 20 friends, 25 friends. No one has fucking 100. No one even has 50. Like, it's just crazy. So I was just extremely anxious. I know it's like little boy chasing a dream type thing, but like, this is, you know, it just doesn't really work. Season 2 takes a while to get going, but then there was like this 10 out of 10 episode, like 2/3 of the way through the season. Komi is paired with two like kind of side characters, and they kind of argue, but she brings them back together, and like it's just all a bunch of fun, and it's exactly what I was looking for. Just for her to like be around these people that don't treat her like a goddess, but they're still like super friendly with well, they are friendly with each other, but you know what I mean? They're not like actually besties. And like there's a falling out, and like it's just fucking great. And then it absolutely picks up after that. It's fucking really good. But yeah. Also, the outro to Komi Season 2 is amazing. The visuals, I think it's Season 2 anyway. So yeah, basically they're both really good, but Season 2 is probably better. I would predict that it's better on rewatch. Like, Season 2 is less bad on rewatch. It's not bad anyway, but you know what I mean. Konosuba, a guy dies, he's brought into like this magical kind of RPG type world, and he's allowed to bring one thing, so he brings the goddess Aqua, who was making fun of him for the way that he died. I think he got ran over or something. The anime is pretty good, and the visuals are fan-fucking-tastic. And the characters, you know, this guy, I mean, he's an asshole, but he always gets shit on for it. Aqua's an asshole, but she gets shit on for it. Darkness is a masochist, and she just put all of her points into, like, defense and stuff so that she could take as many beatings as possible, basically. And Megumin is basically the lolly, but basically her thing is that she can do one extremely powerful explosion before she is out of commission for the rest of like the day, basically, until she rests. They get into all sorts of hijinks, and it's really good. Aqua and Cosmo are too much of assholes. Cosmo especially. I know he always gets shit on, but like, fucking hell, dude. He's just like a massive perv, and like, tries to abandon his friends a lot and stuff. It's just a bit mean-spirited, basically. It's more mean-spirited than it fucking looks. Let's put it like that. And then Season 2 is just more of it. More of this, you know, a couple more characters, but it's basically just the same thing again. Yeah, so I originally gave, on my first ever viewing, I gave Konosuba Season 1 a 9, but I lowered it to an 8. And Season 2 stayed an 8, so that's something. Why did I... Dude, I rewatched Konosuba in 2019. Dude, I was always thinking, like, oh, it must be 2020, but no, it was actually 2019. There's no way I would have rewatched season 1 and not season 2, so... Damn, that's crazy. 2019, damn. So, I watched it, and then 2 years later I watched it again, and now it's been... 3.5 years and I haven't watched it again. But I don't feel the need to rewatch it again. I think a season 3's been confirmed, but nothing has been like a day announcement. Also, the movie's very good. Cosmo's a bit too much of an asshole again, but there's a big plot, the visuals are fucking really good, and like the characters are cool and stuff, and yeah. Yeah, see, look, there's no day announcement, but it'll come out, Kuroko no Basket is basically Haikyuu, the volleyball anime, but worse. This is the basketball anime. Basically, I forget what it's... what they're called. But basically, oh wait, these are the shorts. Where's, like, the proper Kuroko no Basket? Oh yeah, Generation of Miracles. So, originally, there used to be this basketball team of these guys. You can tell they're the main characters because of their hair color. These guys, and they all had, like, a unique ability. I forget what it was. I think one of them has, like, a super high jump. And, the one in red over there, that he has, like, a twist one. I think the purple guy's one is that he's, like, really fucking tall, and, yeah, it's hard to remember exactly. I think the green one has, like, calculated throws, and... Although the red-haired guy, I don't think he was ever originally on the team. It's hard to remember for sure, but basically... The blue-haired guy, he's the main character, and his thing is that... Dude, the fucking thing is loud again. Okay, there we go. His main thing is that he's so boring that nobody ever thinks about him, so he's basically a ghost on the field. But yeah, basically they split up and they're in charge of their own teams, and these two characters, they have to face off against this guy's team, then this guy's team, then this guy's team, then this guy's team, then this guy, and they slowly build up, like, more and more characters until they all finally, you know, that's what it's building up to. But it is worse Haikyuu. They get I mean, they're already really good, but it's just, the pacing is too fast. There is, like, a movie, and it is quite good because they're all playing. They're playing against Americans, I think, and they're playing, like, a really hard game. And this one's really good because, again, you get to see them all in action. It's great. If I remember correctly... Oh, no, I can't say what his power is. It is good, but it's just a slightly worse Haikyuu, basically. And also, its visuals are really I think it came out in, like, 2014 or something. Season 1, and its art style hasn't aged that well, to be honest. There's a lot of anime from, like, 2011 or something to, like, 2014 or 15 that just haven't aged well. But, like, animation hasn't aged well. Link Click. Link Click is really good and has a really unique concept. Basically, they're able to take a picture and actually get into the picture and live the life of the person who took the picture. I forget for how long. I think it's for like a few hours or something. And they use it to like basically solve like crime cases. No, they're not working with the police, but like to solve cases for things, basically. And like it's funny because basically the black-haired guy is the one who goes into these things. But the reason why I gave it an 8, a big reason why is because the voice acting's really bad. It's in Chinese, and you might be like, it's racist, bro, but no, seriously now. They hardly ever have proper, like, they never shout when they're supposed to. There's a lot of arguing and stuff, but like, there's no emotion in most of the lines given. The voice acting is genuinely abysmal. I wanted to rate this a 9, but I felt like I couldn't, because there were so many sad and bad things that happened, and the characters just never sound like they have any emotion. Except for a couple times. Also, the animation is fucking amazing. Some of the best I've ever seen from, like, a season of anime. The aspect ratio is kind of weird, though, but yeah. The concept is extremely unique, especially for 2021. Basically, it's really, really, really good. What's going on with this? Oh, yeah.
Thank you for watching my video.
Yeah, a lot of, and also, there's a season 2. However, I don't think it's aired yet. Nope, but apparently it's gonna be in 2023. But basically, shit goes down, and there's a season 2. Yeah, basically, it's amazing, but the voice acting. So if there's ever a Japanese dub I can find, then I'll watch that. Then maybe I'll up it to a 10. But I have to factor that that was my first ever viewing experience, was the Chinese version. So even if I did rewatch it, maybe I'll just give it a 9 or something. I don't know. I don't even know if I will rewatch it. But yeah, basically it's amazing. Really let down though by that. Dude, how much more is there? Fucking hell. I don't want to be here for any longer than like 30 minutes max. Little Witch is really good. The art style is extremely unique. There's a girl that's going to the Witch Academy thing, but she isn't actually a witch like other characters are, and she doesn't understand like the studies and stuff. But she needs to like find all the words or whatever to like save the world or some shit. But yeah, again, animation is amazing and aged super well. Some of the characters are pretty good, including the main character. The comedy is really good. The plot is interesting. The issue with it is that it's too like some of the words are collected way too easily, and they do like the special moments towards the end of the show, but they kind of shoehorn in side characters, even though they were hardly important before like the last like quarter of the anime. Basically, the show needed to be at least, like, 2 more episodes long, but honestly, even to, like, 30 episodes, it probably should have gone to then the pacing would probably be really good. It's a 9, but it's probably, like, the lowest 9 on out of all the 9s I've given a lot of things 9, but it's probably, like, the worst 9. It does have a special place in my heart, though. It is really, really good. Oh god, Love Live. I'm gonna try and make this short. There's a lot of Love Lives. They all follow the same formula of, like, some schoolgirls wanting to start a school idol club. It's like, oh, but school idol clubs are stupid. It's like, no, they're actually based. They get into it, they start liking it, and then they have, like, some villain who's way better than them. They're gonna be... Dude, they all have a fucking student council president who won't allow for it to happen because they have because they used to be in a thingy, and, like, they're in a... what's it called? They used to be... I can't think of the word. But they used to be into that shit, and then their dreams got crushed or whatever. In the very first Love Live, it's fine, and there's another one where it's a lot more serious than just that. But yeah, the rest of them are just like, bruh. But basically, they all eventually also have, like, 9 main characters, which is way too fucking much for 13 episodes. It's ridiculous. And all the characters start to blend in, and, like, dude, there's, like, 3, like, Love Lives as well, I think, like, with different stories. I mean, they all follow the same formula, but they all try to get into Love Live. Basically, yeah, they all improve too fast, they all fuck around too much, then it's not long enough, so it's not convincing. The animation on all of the spin-offs is, like, the same, the plot is, like, the fucking same every single time. How can you have this many fucking characters and they're all practically identical to each other? Although, Love Live, it might be Love Live Superstar, yeah. Love Live Superstar is alright. Or I might be mixing it up. No, I think this is the right one. I'm surprised I gave her an 8. That's a bit, I mean a 6, that's a bit mean. Basically, the only... It's okay. It doesn't really do that much wrong, but it's an extremely generic, safe anime. All the Love Lives are. They all have fantastic visuals. I'm talking fucking breathtaking sometimes. Not really an animation, but just visuals. They'll have like an outside shot of the school, and it's really bright and saturated. But like, oh, it looks so fucking good. And some of the girls are likable, but when you know, it all blends in. It's all generic shit. If you're gonna watch Love Live, I recommend only watching like one of them. One of the Love Live movies I rated pretty high. Yeah, Love Live Sunshine movie. It's actually really funny and interesting. It falls off a little bit in the second half, but it actually is, like, good. Really good. This is the Eye Patch Girl anime. Basically, she's quirky. And she's into, like, some shit, and, like, I think it's, like, romance comedy, kind of, like, you know. It's hard to remember, really good visuals for the time, and, like, it's interesting, but I think it's basically just, I'm not even saying this to be mean, but I think it's just basically autistic girl tries to, like, make friends and shit, basically. Lucky Star is a very, you know, everybody knows Lucky Star is just super, it's not a pioneer or anything of, like, slice of life, but, you know, it came out in 2007. Its art style still holds up to this day. It's just really cute girls doing really cute things, basically. Particularly the blue hair girls are the proper main character. Just a little bit of a slacker, and all the friends that, you know, it's just good fun. Magical Senpai is only 11 minutes per episode, right? 12 minutes per episode. So it's actually effectively 6 episodes. It's a very generic anime where there's no proper conclusion and no second season. It's just... It's almost like every episode is like an OVA, basically. It's just girl with unbelievably big knockers. Tries to do magical tricks. She usually ends up accidentally showing a cleavage to the guy in some way or something, and then that's basically the anime. She's just bad at magic tricks, and then he's like, oh no, I must not see your boobies. That's basically it. It's alright. Miru Tights is just shorts of, like, girls being weirdly sexualized. There's so much animation put into their feet and stuff and their ass sometimes. There's even one of the episodes with one of the kids gets, like, doesn't get shown, but they, like, almost definitely get a foot job, bro. The animation's amazing, but it's fucking 4 minutes per episode, and I think, like, 15 seconds of it is, like, intro and outro, or it might be more than that, maybe, like, 30 seconds combined. It's just whatever. Kobayashi is really good. However, it has kind of an audience, if you get what I mean. It's weird. For an anime with dragon girls with huge tits, everybody goes to the fucking lolly character. But if you just take it for what it is good. You know, normal girl with a normal life, and then dragons come into her life. And they spice it up for her, and they do quirky things, and there is a little bit of conflict. Great characters, great animation, just great, you know, it's just, it's a slice of life with a twist, but the twist actually works, unlike in some of these other anime. Like, this is one of the ones where it, like, really does work. And, you know, Season 2 is basically just the same thing. It is a little better than the first season, in my opinion. It has a more intense plot, and there's, like, a really big fight that goes on, like, pretty late in season. It's pretty intense, but it's only a little better than the first one, in my opinion. Oh god, I forgot about Mob Psycho. It's a kid who actually has psychic powers, and he works for, like, this guy who is basically, like, working at a psychic place, but, like, he's just trying to, like, get easy money off of stupid old people. But Mob is actually a psychic, and it kind of, you know, although he doesn't believe in psychics until, like, Season 2, I think. Yeah, he gets anxious and he has, like, a psycho percentage, and when it goes to 100, he's insanely powerful. Like, bro's like fucking Goku, I swear. But yeah, these seasons always have like a big build up to something. It'll usually be like a small thing of Mob trying to adjust to something, and then it'll lead to a bigger plot, and then it'll be a little more, you know, it'll build up, and there are like really good concepts. Basically, it's really, really good. The visuals are great. I love all the characters. It's just really good. I don't know why I gave it an 8. I guess because, like, there's only so much you can do when the character's, like, super overpowered. And there are a couple characters I don't care for. Most of them are great. Season 2 is basically just the same stuff. There's a lot more focus put on, like, a villain that actually can pose a threat, and Mob's brother does a lot more things. So it's, like, slightly better, but yeah, it's, you know... Mob Psycho 3... it builds even more. There's even more big plots, and there's an actual huge threat this time that even threatens Mob. And this is the final season, and it concludes beautifully. The conclusion is really good. Most anime do not conclude the way I like them to, but this one has a pretty good conclusion. And it's really good, and it's intense, and the fucking action's insane, and the visuals are even better because it's even, you know, it's even close to the anime slightly. Basically, this anime is really, really, really good. Yeah. It's really good. I don't know if I put it in the top 10, though. Compared to Bocce, I mean, Bocce is a lot more simple, but I don't know. It's hard to explain, but sometimes, like, so you don't want something that's more complicated. Mob isn't super complicated, but it's more complicated than Bocce. Bocce is so incredibly good for how simple it is, whereas Mob needs to do more to reach the same rating, I guess. I don't know. I'm surprised I haven't gotten to a couple anime that I wanted to talk about. My Dress Up Darling is really good. It's super, super, super sexual. Basically, you have this girl everybody likes, but she's actually, like, horny as well. And she gets along with the main character, and they become good friends and stuff. And there's, like, a small... It's basically a romance comedy. And even though it's really horny, and unironically part of the novelty is the girl being horny, it's still really good, you know, great characters, great visuals, you know, you get it by now. It's all fantastic, the plot's, like, really good. Yeah, that's all I can really say, really. It's just fantastic, and I can't wait for Season 2. When is Season 2 coming? No date announced, god damn it. I bet it'll be great, though. My First Girlfriend is a gal. I watched it as a meme, and I give it a 6 because a lot of its humor is ironic. Yeah, it's just girls being sexual with, like, the main characters are proper virgins and cringe and all that. There's, like, a bit of conflict with, like, some bullies or whatever, I don't know. But basically... Yeah, it's just... One of the main characters is a pedophile, and it's, like, really fucked up, but it's, like, so ironically funny. In reality, I should probably be giving it a 5 or a 4, but it's hard not to laugh at it, with how fucking bad it is. My Hero... Oh, god, dude, I'll be here for fucking forever. Basically, My Hero, I mean, everybody knows. He wants to be a hero, he finally gets powers, he's able to do shit, it builds up to big villain arcs. The second to last season finished airing recently, so as you can see, I finished it on the 25th of March. Exactly a month ago. But yeah, no, we're going to see more. One more season, and it feels like it's ending a little soon, because the very beginning of My Hero Season 1, Deku's narrating the story, and he's like, here's how I became the #1 hero, so you know he becomes the #1 hero. There's 7 seasons. I don't know if that's enough to be the #1 hero. I don't know. Anyway, the show as a whole has good story building, good characters and stuff. But there are so many times, there are so many goddamn times with teachers like, now Deku, don't fight the villain. And Deku's like, okay, I won't. He's like, no, I have to fight the villain. He fights the villain, his arms get fucked up. The nurse is like, this is the last time I might be able to heal you. You know, your bones can only take so much. You might not be able to take this again. She says that like fucking like 6 times. And then the teacher's like, what did we tell you? You better not do this next time. And he's like, oh, I learned. Oh, I'm so useless. I'm so useless all the time. I fucking hate myself. And there's so many characters that a lot of them just pretty useless. There are some cool character arcs though and shit, but it's really obvious whenever a character is about to get like some big buff, because they always get like a lot of attention for like an episode or two. But yeah, you know, world building's good, the visuals are great, the story's interesting. That's basically all it is, really. It's just good, but has issues with like some of the characters and stuff. Partly the pacing, and yeah. My teen romance comedy's pretty good. There's a little bit of a love, like, it's a romance comedy, as you can imagine. It is pretty good. This girl, you know, she struggles to socialize. This girl is quite emotional, and this guy is kind of like not very emotional either. There's a running joke where there's like this femboy and the guy, and this guy like only really blushes around him and never the girls. It's fucking stupid. But yeah, every season has like at least one big conflict with like the girls. It is pretty good, but it loses a bit of its magic towards the end. Season 3 is definitely not as good, but it's like a low A. But yeah, no, overall it is good. If you want to romance comedy, but it has serious moments, like this is definitely the one to watch. It's pretty good. Nambaka, oh god. Basically, these characters are in prison, and they try to escape all the time for the fun of it. But then it builds on top of that, and it's really interesting. Again, like, animation's good for 2016, the story's interesting. And there's like a really interesting, like, love relationship thing going on with like the warden and one of the guards. But then in season 2 she like disappears entirely. Season 2 is bad because basically it ends on a cliffhanger and they never have a sequel to it, and it finished in 2017. It's like never getting a sequel. They spend a lot of time in a prison basically. And, like, because there's, like, a big, like, arc going on, but it literally never concludes. Like, I think that there's supposed to be a season 3, and it just never happened. And it's just a little less funny, a little less interesting, and it just, yeah, you know what I mean? This character is, the main character. I forget what these two do, honestly, but this one, he needs to take a lot of meds, basically. But, yeah. It's good. I mean, season 1 is good, season 2 is just like, bruh. Naruto... Ugh. If you skip the filler episodes, it's tolerable. That 6 is based off of skipping the filler, because Jesus Christ. Interesting story, but... yeah, that's all I can really say. It spends a lot of time world building, which is fair. But see... Naruto Shippuden does world building better while also having a lot more action. Also, but you should skip the filler. It has like 200 filler episodes. It's pretty good, but Naruto gets way too strong way too quickly, and the war arc is like a proper fucking fan fiction. And the last like dozen or 2 episodes at the end after the war arc is concluded feel like fucking filler, and they're honestly so bad that I almost gave the show a 6, the season a 6. Shippuden. And you know what's really annoying? Boruto is apparently bad. Boruto has, like, no filler almost. Like, why did they finally... when they finally decided to have, like, no filler, it's when the show fucking sucks. Anyway, yeah, Naruto and Naruto Shippuden are good, but you need to skip the filler, and you need to... dude, this flashback's, like, constantly as well. It's really annoying. But you have to respect what it was able to do. back in the day. And they're still worth watching today, I feel like, if you're willing to watch something long. Although for how long these two are, obviously it's still way shorter than One Piece, but I feel like at that point, maybe just watch One Piece, I don't know. Especially if you're gonna watch it. If you watch the filler, then it's 720 episodes, whereas One Piece, at that point, you might as well, yeah, watch One Piece. And if you watch Boruto, then it adds up to almost One Piece episodes anyway. There's like, yeah. New Game is really good. It's a bunch of women working, doing game dev. But it's slice of life outside of that, but it is very good. Again, it's just generic, but it is really good. And the sequel is just like the same thing, but it has an emotional ending. I want to gush about No Game, No Life, but I'll be here forever. Basically, it would be a 10, but its ending is terrible. And it is a little weird. It is a tiny bit incesty. And the girl's a lolly, but basically, it's just a bunch of mind games, and the animation's, like, so good for... When did it come out? The 2014, the animations are fucking killer. And the plot is, it's always, like, intense games, like, maybe, for example, like a super intense game of chess or whatever, and it's super calculated and big brain and fucking awesome. But, yeah, basically, it's just a little weird sometimes, and the ending's terrible. Otherwise, it's a 10. Oh Maidens, I don't like Oh Maidens. I thought it was just gonna be a funny comedy, but it gets way more serious. Basically, these girls are, like, trying to, like... It's something about, like, dirty words or whatever, but it turns into much more, and there's, like, a big love conflict thing with like a main character and two girls. You know that fucking thing that some anime do where something happens to main character just simply doesn't explain what happened, and then they just let the other person believe that a thing happened even though it literally didn't, and they never explain it in the end. God, I fucking hate that. And it does it in a really bad way. In fact, the guy kind of gets sexually harassed and shit, and and then he never says that it wasn't even his fault, and fucking, ugh. It's way too serious. One of the characters is so fucking unlikable. The conflict is not even properly resolved, and yet they act like it is. It just fucking sucks. But it had a strong start, and... yeah. Oh yeah, the principal is a fucking horrible character too. He's just an asshole for literally no reason. Like, he expels a student because of something, and then he realizes like, it wasn't what he thought it was, but he still does it anyway for like no reason, because he wants to excuse banning kissing or whatever, even though there's no reason to want to ban it. I don't even think there was a plot point of him like divorcing his wife, and so he's really petty. So I don't even think something like that happened. He literally just does it for the sake of it. God, fucking it sucks. But the animation's good, and the first, like, episode or two are good. Filmzy is good. I'm not really talking about, like, extension movies. I mean, it's good, yeah. It's just One Piece shit, yeah. One Punch Man is really good. A character he's basically unstoppable. They still manage to find ways to make it really interesting, because he literally kills everyone in one punch. All the side characters... So, when you have a character like this, all the side characters need to be really good, and they are really good. There's a big plot. Like, he only barely qualifies to be a hero because he's really bad at the theory stuff, but when he does, like, the practice stuff, he gets 100 out of 100, so he fucking... Yeah, but anyway, he slowly moves up the ranks. He doesn't really care, though. He just wants to fight villains and shit. He's looking for a good challenge, basically, but yeah, no, he's a good character. And it's just a good, you know, it's just funny. Just really funny and interesting. All the side characters are great. One Punch Man Season 2 is definitely quite a bit worse, though. They tried to do a much more serious plot, but it doesn't work that well. Before, they had a semi-serious plot, but they really ramp it up in this season. But the character can still kill everyone in one punch. And spoilers, it ends on a cliffhanger, right? Season 2 ended in 2019, and Season 3 is still not fucking airing, and the manga is still going. It doesn't even have an announcement for this year. It might not even happen this year. We only got confirmation that there would be a One Punch Man 3. Like, I think a few months ago, like, and so it still took years anyway for it to be confirmed that there would even be one. I thought there wasn't gonna be one. Yeah, it takes itself too seriously, and it ends on a fucking cliffhanger. But it's still good stuff. It's not as good. Oh my god, I forgot about this. Basically, guy, all the girls start liking him, and then he's like, nope, I actually like my sister, and they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? He basically cuts, like, all of his friendships, but this doesn't happen in Season 1, I don't think, or it might be towards the end. His sister is a massive bitch. She is, like, imagine, like, the biggest tsundere ever, and that is what she is. So she's like, it's not like I want you to do this or that, baka, but like super aggressive. He always takes the fall for her, and she's like almost never grateful. She's so fucking annoying. Unbelievably annoying. Seriously, Wiz seriously can't do it. Just, I want to get this video over and done with, but you seriously don't understand. It is one of the worst fucking things I've ever watched. There's a couple funny jokes, a couple of the characters are alright, and you know, at least they build to the character, these two liking each other, I guess, and the animation is alright for the time. But trust me, it is horrible. Season 2 is a bit better. But yeah, this is when characters are just like, dude, I'm not hanging around with you anymore. And then, in the specials, him and his sister marry, and they get divorced the next day. So they lost their friendships for no reason. There wasn't even a reason for it. And she's still a bitch at the end. She's just slightly less a bitch. I hate her so fucking much. Ursure is terrible. This girl has to make people think that she has a boyfriend, so they stop harassing her. And so she blackmails this guy. I hate it because she's from a rich family. She could have been like, oh, I'll buy you something really nice or whatever. I'll pay for your college or something. But no, it's literally blackmail. And she's throughout the whole season. And then all these girls start liking him. And I'm confused by the ending. I don't even know if he gets with any of them or not. I can't tell. It's so hard to... And, God, it just fucking sucks. The only reason to watch it is because that's where the Poggies bit comes from in episode 12. But it's fucking bad. Good visuals. Really good visuals for 2013. And a couple of jokes are funny here and there, but overall it just fucking sucks. Overlord is good. A guy was playing like a game, but then he gets sucked into the game, and now he's this character. Ainz, I mean, Jesus Christ, Ainz. But basically, he's super overpowered, so he's like taking over land and stuff like that. My issue with the series of anime overall is that they are very slow paced. Like, very, very slow-paced. It pace, like, almost as bad as, like, fucking One Piece, except that, like, there's, like, huge gaps in between when they come out as well. But basically, and there's, like, this one part in Season 1 where basically, he has minions, and, like, they all just, like, suck his cock, basically. They love him to death, and they just do anything he wants. Even though what he does is sometimes gruesome. And, what was I saying? Oh yeah, there's this one part where one of the characters at one point is like, almost looks like they're gonna betray him maybe, but then it literally just never comes up again. It's stupid. Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3 are just like, they take forever to like get going and do stuff. And then Season 4 took years to come out, dude. We're not gonna see Season 5 for a fucking while. It's just never gonna fucking end. However, the visuals are fantastic, and the characters are still interesting. He has so many minions that a lot of them don't get proper usage. But yeah, no, some of the characters are pretty interesting. And, yeah, like, but again, because he's so overpowered, basically, they're kind of villains, but he's trying to, like, find his other friends. He's hoping that his other friends are in the game or whatever, but now, there was a big, there was definitely, like, a big build-up. Like, there will be a Season 5. There was definitely a big build-up to that, but won't be seeing it for a long time. But yeah, it's good, but it's not, like, that good. It's, you know, it's just good. It's interesting. It's unique, but that's mostly what I have. Other than visuals and the unique story, it doesn't have much going for it, really. It is a good watch, though. I do recommend it if you are interested in what I said. Penny and Stalking, I watched dubbed. It has a big novelty. For the characters being pretty raunchy. There are like 3 episodes that are like super fillery for some reason, even though it's only 13 episodes long. It's good, but it's not that good. It's mostly good as like a novelty thing because it's an old anime that like was unique for its time and stuff. It's like such a non-anime anime basically, but it is good. But it's like one of those things you watch once and never again. It's just good to watch once, but watching any more than that, you'd probably decrease the rating. But yeah, these characters are just really raunchy. That's basically what it is. Yeah, we're not even gonna acknowledge those 2. I'm not going over all the Pokemon anime, except for the Gen 3 anime. It fucking sucked dick. Every scene takes place in a fucking forest. And May and what's-his-face are such annoying characters. Max, I think his name is. I see Season 3, Gen 3, because that's the one I watched first on Mel. Then I watched Season 4, and it was better, but it was still basically the same thing, except with slightly better animation and no fucking May and Max. Gen 5 is even better. More interesting locations and animation and stuff. Gen 6, I feel like the side characters in Gen 6 aren't as good. But that's when they finally start having Pokemon battles where it's not just like, Piplup, use Tackle, and then there's like a bright background, and then flash white, other Pokemon looks like you know, they actually start fucking hitting each other this time. The pacing's good and stuff. And then Gen 7, I didn't watch it all, I watched half of it, but that was definitely the best one so far. It had a huge plot, and good animation and battling, and the side characters aren't great, but they're alright, and the animation's great and stuff, so, yeah. Gen 1 is a classic, but it's mostly ironic viewing. Also, I watched all the Pokemon anime. You can't watch Pokemon and not have it be dull as stupid. And, I didn't get to Gen 2, but it's probably just more Gen 1 shit. So, yeah, that's basically my opinions on it. Galco-chan is very generic. They just talk about some shit. It's 7 minutes per episode. They just have, like, basic conversations. It's not really worth noting. Apparently, the person responsible for this, the manga, I think they got arrested for having CP. I think it was CP. They got arrested for something pretty sketch. I'm not gonna acknowledge most of the stuff except for Pokemon Origins is worth noting. It's basically just a recap of Kanto. It's too short, but it's really good for what it is. Pokemon 2000, you know, it's just, there's no point in, you know, it'd be forever. Most of the Pokemon movies are worth watching, basically. Team Epic is where literally anything can happen. Literally, and I really do mean, like, absolutely anything can happen. The characters can just get into any situation ever, and it doesn't matter. Some sections, they have really bad animation, some sections, they have really good animation. It's just whether, you know, some segments and, like, themes are kind of reoccurring, but yeah, no, like, it's just really bonkers and stupid, basically. They do this thing with the first 12 minutes or whatever, and then the other 12 minutes are just a repeat of the first 12 minutes, except with different voices for the characters. In the first 12 minutes, they're female characters, and then the last 12 minutes, they're male characters, like, male voices. Season 2 is just more, it's basically just as good as Season 1, in my opinion. Although there's a lot of there's like Fortnite references and stuff. It's so stupid. Prison School, I was in the middle of rewatching it, but it's kind of hard to rewatch. It's like weirdly sexual. The visuals are really good for the time. The concept is really interesting, but sometimes it's kind of overly detailed and like it's kind of hard to watch. But these guys are in a women's only school because they were allowed in because of some exception thing or whatever. They fuck up, they try to spy on girls in the locker rooms or whatever, they get put in prison, but then the women start like abusing their powers and keep them in the prison even though they're not supposed to be in there anymore. So you don't sympathize with them at first, but then eventually you do. And they get justice in the end, but yeah, basically it's a little hard to watch. But the animation, the visuals are fucking some of the character designs are ugly, but again, the visual quality for 2015 is insane. It is good, definitely, but I always hated the idea of rewatching because I felt like it wouldn't be as good rewatching it. But yeah, visuals are great, music's great. The tension is high as fuck, but I feel like by the time I eventually rewatch it, if I do decide to fully rewatch it again, probably give it like an 8. I doubt it'll be a 9. What's Punchline? Oh, I remember Punchline. Wait, do I remember Punchline? Yeah, I remember Punchline. It's really, really, really hard to describe, so I kind of don't want to describe it, but like a lot of stuff goes on. Basically, it's 6 out of 10, except like the last episode is like really emotional. Also, the visuals are really good, the music's really good, and so on. There's like, I think somebody's in the body of a cat or something, and like another character's in the body of a boy when she's actually a girl, or maybe it was vice versa, I don't fucking know. Bunny Girl Senpai is so overrated. It's so fucking overrated. There's like a couple mini arcs and stuff, but basically the main guy and the main girl have like no personality, and they start dating. They have no personality. Visuals are good, and that's all I can really say. They have no personality. A couple jokes are funny, but they're so fucking boring. They don't do anything. Like, holy shit. Ugh. Fucking so fucking goddamn fucking boring. Recreators, I don't remember very well. But it's like a big arc thing. If I remember correctly, episode 20 is beautiful. It's like this episode where like the villain is like in his, I can't really spoil it, but it's just an entire episode dedicated to the villain, like getting like kind of mentally scarred and just like, you know, God, it's so fucking good. But the rest of it, if I remember, is just like 7 out of 10 generic good. ReZero is amazing. A guy is in this like new fantasy world and he keeps getting like checkpointed, but he doesn't know if like he would like if the checkpoints will just stop coming and he'll die for real. But yeah, he dies and then he like respawns. But every life counts because he doesn't know how many lives he has, and he'll see the most horrible, gruesome things ever. And then he respawns. He's like, fuck, dude, I know this is going to happen, but now I need to figure out how it's going to happen. Sometimes he'll purposely jump off a cliff and stuff so that he can actually, like, there was one scene where a character even tries to, like, kill him, and then he literally just jumps off a cliff, and then he's got to figure out how to get that to not happen. The only thing, though, is that he has a curse. We can't tell other people that this is happening. But my issue with ReZero is that it's a really frustrating anime, like Steins Gate, except it's even more frustrating here because his body literally won't let him, like, he literally can't say what's happening or explain what's happening in any way, shape, or form. And it's so fucking frustrating because of that. So it makes me really agitated and shit. There is a season 2 and a movie, but I haven't watched them, but I hear they're good. I remember this one. a guy and a girl. I think they're playing together online or something, and then they hang out in real life, and then they eventually realize like, oh my god, you're the person from online, and then yeah, there's like a romance comedy thing. I don't know if it's with an 8 though. I don't know. I haven't watched it in a long time, so just I feel like it's probably a 7. I feel like there's no way it's an 8 from memory. Real life is really good. Somebody he's like 27 years old and he gets put back. He's basically back to being 17 in school to redo his exams and stuff to get another chance at life. And he's making connections with friends as part of the real life program. But the issue is when he's done with his term, everyone forgets about him, and it actually is quite emotional. Because they're all like, oh, we're gonna have a great time next year, and the main character's just like, he knows it's not gonna happen. And then eventually, yeah, like, basically, like, they kind of wipe, like, these people's memories, and, like, they Photoshop the main character out of, like, photos to make sure that he's just not there. There is a happy ending in the end, but yeah, no, like... It's really sad, basically, at some points, though, and because you just know it's coming. But yeah, it's very good, basically. It's an amazing concept, and the intro's good, and good visuals, yeah. And the final arc, it's just like, yeah, 4 more episodes of adding on to it. Very good. Tanya, basically, a guy doesn't believe in God or whatever, he dies and he gets reincarnated as a fucking little girl from like World War I or some bullshit like that. But she still doesn't believe in God. And she, even though she's 9, she's in charge of an army, and a lot of people know that she's pretty fucking evil, but they just don't bother with her. It's really serious all the time, and also the faces on the characters are really ugly, some of them. But the visuals outside of that are really good, and yeah, it's just a really interesting concept, basically. Now, you could argue a lot of the novelty is the fact that the character's 9-year-old girl is kind of funny, but, like, yeah, I don't know. Yujo Senkai 2 is coming, but yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know if I give it a fucking... Movie's pretty good as well, although she never shuts up about communists or something. Sakura Trick is lesbian anime where the girls experiment kissing and then it turns into a whole thing, and like, yeah, there's some conflict. If I remember correctly, the redhead one is like really jealous all the time, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's got a lot of novelty to it, I guess, because of that, and it looks the visuals are really good for fucking 2014. But yeah, Samurai Champloo is really good. But it does have that thing that a lot of old anime have, where it's like big sexualization on women and stuff, but there's even some words that are used that are just like, whoa, that's a bit much in it. Also, a couple of the episodes feel really fillery. But basically, this girl needs to, like, find out who her dad is or something. And these 2 samurai are trying to, like, they're trying to help her. They don't care a lot of the time, honestly, but yeah, they're just on adventures and shit. And a lot of the time they try to kill each other, but they usually agree not to kill each other until after she gets her thing out of the way. There are a lot of points where you kind of can't believe they didn't die. And there are times where you just don't understand why they're sticking around with each other, and there's a part, the ending as well, I can't spoil it, but it's, you know, it's got... How long's the music been paused for? Fucking hell. Probably a while, my bad. But yeah, that's basically all I can really say. It's pretty good, but also the intro's awesome, but yeah, I mean... It's quite dated, and some stuff is just kind of whatever, but it is pretty good overall. Samurai Girl is really good. There's this girl that only communicates using, like, these card things. and the guy's trying to get along with her, and there's like a definitely like something romantic going on between the two, but it's only one season, came out in 2019, definitely no sequels. It's unfortunate. It is pretty good stuff. It's 12 minutes per episode as well. It is just good, but it doesn't do enough to get a high rating. It's like a low 8. Seraph of the End, I'm trying to remember. It's like... I like how Shinoa's at the back as if she's not fucking important. It's like these vampire characters or something, and they need to suck on blood, and they form an alliance with humans, I think, but there's a lot of bad vampires as well, and like, I don't know. But Season 2 is a lot worse than Season 1, if I remember correctly. Or maybe Season 3, I don't know. And I think the final season ends on a cliffhanger or something. But yeah, Shinoa is a fantastic character. She's like basically the only good part, really, other than a couple jokes here and there. Shikimori is terrible. It looks good, but it's a romance comedy, except the two main characters are already together. So you just see if like that. But like, dude, they hardly know anything about each other. The guy is just like, oh, I'm so fucking useless all the time, bro. I'm so useless. And pink-haired girl is like perfect and she could. Also, the guy's quirk is that he's really unlucky all the time. I guess in a way, like his luck has been used on getting a girlfriend. But yeah, she's like perfect and you know. But yeah, dude, there's one scene where he literally asks her if she likes going to the movies, and it's like, dude, haven't you guys been together for months? Like, what the fuck? Oh god, I was so mad. There is one kind of good episode where the main character, and it's ironic, it's like the only episode where the main character, like, basically, the guy is basically, like, just not there at all, pretty much. He only gets, like, a line or two. Because there's a little bit of, like, love triangle thing going on. And, there's, like, confrontation and stuff, and it is actually quite interesting. That episode is the only reason why I didn't get a fucking 4 in the visuals. Now, I like these two characters, kind of. She's very lazy and shit, and she's, like, proper tomboy. These two are kind of cool. If there was, like, a spin-off... There's one episode where, like, the first half of it is basically just these two. I would take, like, an episode with, like, just them, honestly. Or, I mean, like, a show. It'd probably be better than this. It'd probably be at least a 6 out of 10. Soul Eater. Basically, you have these characters who can, like, wield weapons, and the weapons are humans as well. These are the main characters. So, he's Soul. He turns into a scythe for Makima. Makima? That is not a name. What's her name? What's the name of the fucking redhead bitch from fucking whatever it's called? Maka, yeah. They argue a lot, but, you know, and then you have Death Star, who's very aggressive and stuff, and then you have the more calm girl, forgot her name. Then you have, Kid, who's perfectly symmetrical, and the joke with him is that everything has to be perfectly symmetrical. And then he has 2 pistols that are perfectly symmetrical. Patty... Well, Patricia apparently, but she's always called Patty. She's the stupid one with big boobs, and then Elizabeth, who's like smart but no boobs. Chrono's really good. He's like a villain at first, and like a lot of stuff happens with that. The best episode is where they take a test, and the episode is so perfect because it shows off their characteristics so perfectly. Like, Death Star tries to cheat. Kid never does the exam because he's too busy trying to write his name, and like he starts crying at the end because he writes the K is not perfectly symmetrical, if I remember correctly. It's so fucking funny. And Patty's just like fucking using crayons and shit. Yeah, it's really funny. It's a relatively lighthearted anime until it's a really low 8 though. Apparently it got some stuff that the manga had. Some arcs probably needed more work. The ending's a bit like, what? But yeah, no, it is pretty good still. Very unique anime, and I had a lot of fun watching it. Also, the intros, the intro for the first like 20 episodes or something is really good. Already talked about Spy X Family and Steins Gate. Sword Art Online. It's really bad. What do you want me to fucking say? It's really bad. Like, the first half is better than the second half, but yeah, it's just fucking bad. Dude, Season 2 is even worse, though. It's so bad, I was watching it in, like, 1.5 times speed, if I remember correctly. I hate this so much. Just sucks. The recap episode as well is fucking terrible. And there's, like, 2 more seasons or something I have to watch. Here's Takagi-san. It's Girl Teaser's Guy, but it's way more lighthearted. Yeah. So there's 3 seasons and then a movie. The movie's the finale. I watched it recently. It's quite good. It's very lighthearted. The art style is a bit weird, but it works. The side characters are pretty interesting. There isn't really much else I can say. It's just a much more lighthearted version of Nagatoro. I would like something that's the in-between of Nagatoro and this. But yeah, as it is, it's pretty good, but sometimes it feels like it takes a while to get going, basically. The movie's pretty good. They find like a kitten and then they take care of it and stuff like the whole summer. It's pretty cute. Terror and Resonance, it's basically a girl that gets involved with these 2 fucking terrorists. I don't remember why or how and why she sticks with them. But yeah, really good visuals, pretty, 2014 as well. Interesting characters and like plot and stuff, I remember. Yeah, it's pretty good. This anime, I don't really remember much of it. It's really generic and shit. Yeah, it's probably not very good. This is one of those, this is kind of like Jashin-chan, where the main character is always a bitch. But she's still significantly less of a bitch. She's just still constantly a bitch, though. She needs to go back to hell or something, because she's like the queen of hell or something like that. But she's trying to get back in, but at the moment she's working at a thingy. This girl idolizes her a lot. This girl is like the manager, and she takes care of her. This is the one, there's some cool plots and stuff, but it's not that good. I mean, it's alright. It is good, but it's mostly about like the visuals and like some of the characters are good. Yeah, it was worth it. I feel like to watch it. I hardly remember this one, but I think the girl just is like autistic or something. You try, it's just like some conflict. I never really cared for it that much, really, to be honest. Tokyo Ghoul. Yeah, he's like, I hate ghouls, and he turns into a ghoul, basically. Like, half ghoul. I remember it being good at the time, but it's probably not as good as I remember. It's just really edgy. And then Season 2 is, like, the main character is a completely different person compared to Season 1, and, like... Yeah. I don't know, I don't remember it very well. Uzaki-chan is just, girl and guy. It's kind of like the in-between of Takagi-san and Nagatoro, but not in the right way. The art style's not very good. She's a little too annoying. Not enough progress gets made. Why are its hits so massive? It's really safe and generic sometimes. And yeah, that's a lot of what it comes down to. Yeah, I remember this one. This is one of those ones where all the girls eventually like him, but the most interesting character out of all of these is probably the teacher. Well, the blue-haired girl's kind of interesting too, but yeah, I don't know, it's just good. Here's Weathering with You. This is a bit spoilery, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Basically, the plot is really similar to Your Name. Like, very similar. Like, the structure of it is very similar. The way it ends is practically the same as well. And when they already did Your Name... And also, this plot is, the pacing's a little more off, and the characters aren't as good. The animation's a teeny tiny bit better, but it's effectively not as impressive, even though it's still fucking gorgeous. Still absolutely amazing. But, yeah, basically, it's really, 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 really good, but it's low-key a slightly worse Your Name. There is a little more to it than just Your Name, but they do have some differences, but generally, if you've watched one, then you've watched a small chunk of the other already, and I feel like you should watch Your Name first before Weathering With You, because Weathering With You has better animation. And in my opinion, Your Name's better anyway, so it's probably the best one to watch anyway. But yeah, no, 9 is still... I wouldn't give it a 9, or I mean, I wouldn't put it in the top 10, because even though it's really good, Your Name... If Your Name didn't exist, I would definitely give Weathering With You a 10, and it'd be pretty high ranked, but... yeah. Weathering With You just has a slightly worse plot, slightly worse characters, slightly worse comedy, slightly worse pacing. And I really do mean slightly, it's still fucking really, really good. It basically only doesn't have a 10 because of how similar it is to, Your Name in some ways. We watched it at late hours on the 26th of October 2020. Fucking hell, that's so long ago. Yu-Gi-Oh! You kind of watch it like half ironically, and you gotta watch dub. But there is a little bit of fun to be had. The concept is interesting. Especially early on when the card rules weren't fully established yet. And like the Egyptian god cards are really interesting as well. But Yugi just cheats. He just lets the Pharaoh come out and do shit. And it's really funny, the dub is, because they always say like the Shadow Realm instead of just saying how it is and stuff. It's not actually good, but the novelty alone makes me have to give it a 6. Same with Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, same sort of thing. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX has like better pacing and shit, but I didn't grow up with it as much. I need to watch more Fullmetal Alchemist. It's really good from what I watch. From what I watch is at least an 8 out of 10, but I just haven't watched it since October 2020, I believe. Yeah, it's very good. I don't know. I just need to watch it more. Parasite is apparently pretty good. The character gets infected with a parasite and he tries to hide it, but he becomes more and more... He becomes less and less human and is creating conflicts with, like, a girl that kind of likes him, and... yeah, I got to a point where it was kind of hard to watch because the characters were just... because again, I don't really care for conflict. I need to watch Steins Gate Zero. I've only seen the first episode. Cowboy Bebop, I don't know, I just didn't really get into it. Tokyo Ghoul Re is second season is so bad. I literally can't tell who the main character is in the first 3 episodes. I can't tell what the fuck is going on. And dude, most people don't like it, look. 6.42. Is there a sequel to this? No, this is the last one, so eventually I will have to pick it up. The final episode air on Christmas? Who the fuck was watching this on Christmas? And then here's stuff I need to watch. I'm trying to think of if there were any anime that I accidentally skipped past or anything, but I can't think of anything. Some of these I'm looking forward to watching. A lot of them I'm just waiting for a new season to come out. Some of these I don't want to watch, but you know. Oh yeah, I've been meaning to watch this. It's apparently pretty damn good. Very old, but apparently it's a banger, so... Hirobako. I don't know what this is. What's here? Oh, the Garden of Worlds. This is another one of the wheel thing you recommended me. It was only 46 episodes long, but apparently it's pretty damn good. And I do want to watch Violet Evergarden and Light in April. I want to watch the Monogatari series, and I want to watch Toradora as well, yeah. And I want to watch Evangelion, but I was thinking of watching JoJo as well. Anyway, this video, I thought it was going to be like 2.5 hours long or something, and it's now 3.5 hours long, and I'm gonna fucking go to sleep like immediately. So, thank you for watching, even though this will literally get like 3 views. At least my thoughts are out there. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.